Hello everybody, it's Lynn here, the Go Live Granny, and I'm live streaming this on Sunday the 20th of July 2025. I always forget where I am and what I'm doing, don't I? And I'm not even quite ready, but never mind, let's see. Some people coming in already there. I am still struggling, even though I had help from Tracy yesterday. I'm still struggling to get my screen in landscape. That's how I want to broadcast, but it's not letting me. Even though Tracy gave me, hello Heather, nice to see you in. Tracy Googled and tried to help me so I could get my screen in landscape, and I still can't get it in landscape. And I set it all up here on my desk, so I'm in the craft room. I don't do my crafting in here actually now. I do my crafting in my lounge, but this is where most of my craft stuff is. Well, it spills everywhere, but most of it's in here. But I can sit up better on this chair. When I'm in the lounge, I feel like I'm slumping down on the sofa. So I thought I'd come in here, and I'm going to try and watch because I have a job with this in landscape. I'm going to try. I've got my laptop on the table and I've got my computer on the table, and I found out how to put the sound off, I think, on the computer, because it was that easy, wasn't it? You could put it off on the keyboard, and I didn't realize how silly was I. So I'm just waiting for them to load, so that I can watch the comments over there on Facebook and on YouTube. So I got two screens and this one here. Hello, Tracy. Tracy, I tried desperately hard to follow your instructions, and I still couldn't find out how to get in landscape. You said you told me to go to the settings. It was very difficult to even find the settings on the mobile. So I think I've got to have a chat with Tristan about that and see how that works. Anyway, enough about the shenanigans of trying to get landscape on my mobile. I'm going to watch the comments over on my laptop, on Facebook, and on the computer, the big computer on YouTube. So that's what I will do. And then of course I've got two mouses. That's a mouse. If I have two of them, is it mice? I suppose it's mice, isn't it? Hello, Graham. Nice to see you coming in the broadcast as well. So I am having shenanigans. I'm good. I've had a busy week, and then I've had a really lovely slow down, do very little day today, which is good. So there's So I've got various props and things to show you, and I'll talk you through my week, and we can chat about how you've all been doing as well. So now, I'm so confused already because I've got two mice, or two computer mice on my desk at the same time. I'm moving one and expecting it to move on the wrong screen. How silly is that? But that's how I roll. I'm no good with these things. I'm good at the live streaming, but not good at the technology side. So last week, I live streamed from home. I was in my lounge, wasn't I? And today I'm home again, but I've been away and I've come back since I last saw you. So Sunday night I was chatting to you, and then Monday I was on my travels. And let me think how that went. Oh, I have got a refund to come from that because I was a bit late. I was more than 15 minutes late, but not 30 minutes late. So I only get a quarter of my money back, but I've got to put the application in. The previous one, they said I was unsuccessful, but I've got to get back onto them because I realised why they thought that my train was on time, was because I was supposed to go via Basingstoke, but because the lift was out at Basingstoke, they sent me via Guildford on the previous trip, which means I wasn't on the train that I was supposed to be, and I did arrive later. So something weird's going on my big computer. Let's see if I can just get on here on the. Hello, Debs. Debs is in now. Oh dear, what's What's Tracy been doing? She had a busy day today, had a nice clear out, sorted a lot of stuff for the tip, then went to go do dinner and caught the tip of my finger in the potato peel. Oh, you're not supposed to peel your fingers. Oh, ouch. It bled for ages. I bet it did. Oh, my goodness. Yuck. Oh, how horrid. I hope it's all right now. Oh dear. You're not supposed to do that. Hope it's okay. Anyway, Tracy and I have seen each other. We were together yesterday, Tracy and Tasha, her daughter. She's got a daughter, Tasha, and I've got a daughter, Tasha. I could have put out there to you, what do Tracy and I have in common? But now I've told you one of the answers, so we won't go that route. We'll give that one up as a bad job. But yeah, so Monday, I went off on my travels. I didn't go till. So I had Monday morning at home doing bits and pieces, tidying up all sorts of things, and I went in the afternoon, didn't I? That's right. I left in the afternoon, and I don't. Yeah, there was a bit of shenanigans. Because that's right. There was shenanigans going that way, because when I got, was it Basingstoke? I think it was when I got to Basingstoke. So last time I did go via Basingstoke. The previous time I was going via so I went up via Basingstoke this time. Right? Yes. Sorry, getting myself confused. So I had a changeover at Basingstoke and a changeover at Reading, which is what I usually do. But what happened? Just let me have a swig of my drink. What happened was that my train came into Basingstoke. I should have had an 11-minute changeover, which is usually okay for me to get off the train, nip to the loo, and then be ready to onto the other platform. But my train was late. My train got late to. Oh yeah, because that's right. Going out, I did have shenanigans, didn't I? Because when I when I booked my passenger assist the day before I was going, I usually book it the day before. When I booked passenger assist, hang on, oh no, Tracy's saying she caught her finger in the potato peeler, but she wasn't even peeling potatoes. She caught it just getting a spoon out of the drawer. Oh my goodness, that's oh. Anyway, as I say, I hope it's all right now. And Tracy's doing some tagging there. That's good. Graham's just started back crafting. Has been doing it all day today. Gave it up for a bit, but I'm back at the crafting again. Oh, that's good, Graham. Glad you're doing that, and hope you're enjoying it. Is that paper craft? Isle of Wight Film Productions. Hi, hope you're good next Saturday in Sandown. Is Sandown Carnival the first carnival of the year? It's come round so fast again. I might record it next week. Yes, it is. It's the first actual carnival. We have had Pride. We had the Pride Parade yesterday, and we had Mardi Gras before that, didn't we? A week or so ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. The days fly so fast. But all being well, I intend to be in Sandown on Saturday. I feel, I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. So as long as nothing changes there, my intention is to be in Sandown on Saturday for the first carnival of the season. I'm not sure how many of them I will do, because those of you who Tracy's saying I've got a lovely top, earrings, and necklace. Lynn looks so pretty. Looks pretty. Thank you. And Tracy knows all about my purchases because she was with me when I bought this. She was with me when I bought this and this. We'll come to all that, then. So if you see me there, Isle of Wight Film Productions, come and say hello. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you also your day cover. Sorry, Graham's saying he's doing crafts and also decoupage cards. Busy. Yes, that's lovely. Well done. So you enjoy being. I haven't had much time to do my crafting. I did make a card a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't done anything much since then. So I do need to get back to it. But I've been knitting today. I've been knitting during the week as well. Lots and lots of different things. I've been traveling, as I say, on Monday. And so, yes, what happened of course, they told me, didn't they, when I went to book my passenger assist. So I booked my train online, and I always find the good deals, and I always go through Top Cashback and then trip.com. And so hang on, let's just, that's flashing in front of me. Let's get rid of that because it's distracting me. That's not what I want to do. Oh dear, now my mouse is falling off the table. I'm going to record it, because when I try and stream, the signals often drop out, and then of course you miss some of the carnival. If you're trying to stream and the signal drops out, then you'll miss some of the carnival. So although I used to stream it when I first started all those years ago, 9 years ago, I now prefer to. I would prefer to live stream, because then I don't have to do anything like loading it up onto the internet afterwards. But so that makes it much easier for me because I'm so busy. I've got so many pictures and so many videos and things to upload at the moment. I just don't know where I'm getting the time to do it. I'm not. And then I have to take time out like I did today to sit and chill. Otherwise it's all too much, so there we are. I'm trying to shut the window down with the wrong mouse. That's what happens when I've got two mice on the table. It's not a good plan. Oh dear, I'd be dangerous with a brain. So oh, Richard's saying thank you for Tracy for notifying. The notifications don't seem to be coming out anymore. People don't seem to get notified when I go live. Maybe that's one of my enemies has done something. You've got 25 subscribers until you have 500. Oh yeah. Am I at 475? Am I? I didn't know where I was. Thank you, Isle of Wight Productions. Richard's in. That's lovely. What's best craft fairs to go to? As out at Glasgow. Right, I don't know. I don't know the best craft fairs in Glasgow because I live on the Isle of Wight, so I really don't know. But I'm sure if you look on, I'm sure if you go on a local Facebook site and ask questions, I'm sure people will tell you what that is. Right, I'm using the right mouse for the right web. Right, let's have a look. Let's go up here. Deb's dog has jumped on her foot. Arch collapsed. Need one of those shoe inserts, I think. Oh my goodness. Now, what is it with my audience getting themselves injured? Tracy's caught her finger on the potato peeler in the drawer, and now you've hurt your foot. My goodness. I hope everybody else is healthy and fighting fit. Andrew might know. Richard's saying Andrew might know what about craft fairs because, of course, he lives in Scotland. So I don't know. I don't know that he's in the broadcast, is he? So we will. I don't know whether we'll be able to find out for you, but I'm sure you can find out by asking in the Scottish things. No, you don't get notified either. Lynn did a live yesterday, but I didn't get any. That's right. Tracy was actually standing next to me when I went live yesterday on Ride Seafront, and Tracy was one side of me, Tasha was the other side of me. They both had their phones in their hands. I went live and they couldn't get it. They knew I was live because they could see me live on my own phone, but they actually couldn't get any of that. So I really don't know what's going on these days. Anyway, so Richard is good. That's good. I don't know if you've been in for a while, but no, everybody's busy and nobody has to feel obliged to ever come in. Just come in when you want to. That's not like school. So we just do as we do. And of course, you might have noticed I've done 1 or 2 extra live streams when I've been out and about because I'm feeling, much better than I was. It's been a long old road to recovery. And, I enjoy doing the Sunday night lives, but now, of course, I like doing those ones like I was in the wool shop and I did a live stream. Oh, I've got to go and get something. Hold those. Chat amongst yourselves. I will be back. I've forgotten 4 of my visual aids. Let me go and get there and I will be back. Let's see if I can just squeeze around here. Whoops, I've gone the wrong way. I can't find what I'm looking for. Oh no. oh dear. I think I need a personal secretary here, a personal assistant to help me. That's what I need. Oh my goodness. There we are. Some things I'm going to show you. I just forgot all about those. Let's put those things there. Got quite a few things to show you. Whoa. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Now my Pepsi is giving me burpees. Sorry, folks. That's not what you want to see on live stream, is it really? Not a good plan. So I'm still trying to get I don't know, hang on. I'm still trying to get my pages up over there. Yes, Isle of Wight Film Productions. What is your best Isle of Wight carnival? Also, my best Isle of Wight carnival. Do you mean the best one I've ever done, or do you mean the one I like the most? I love Sandown. Sandown is good. I mean, I like them all. I don't want to offend anybody, but of course, I'm a Ryde girl, not born and bred, but I live in Ryde, and I love the Ryde Carnival. I mean, they're all good. Sandown, I really like as well, and so I don't know. I would hate to say which. St Helens obviously is a smaller one. Because that's just a small little village, but they take part. It's all so good, and it's so good to support as many of them as we can. That's the thing. So I will get this sorted in a minute. I will sort myself out. Right. So yes, and Isle of Wight Film Productions is saying the East Cows Carnival is coming back for the first time since, and I can't see what it's 1995. So yes, I really Tracy's in East Cows. I've forgotten the date of the East Cows one. I must put it in. I really want to get there if I can. It depends on what my family are doing and where I'm going. So yes, yes, Richard, the carnival's starting next Saturday. So next Saturday is Sandown Carnival. We've had Isle of Wight Pride Parade yesterday. We had Mardi Gras the week just gone, or the week before that. I can't remember which week Mardi Gras was. the days go by so fast. I know I was recently at Mardi Gras. Isle of Wight Film Productions thinks it's 23rd of August. So I have got a list. I have got a list of the carnivals. I need to get them into my diary, to be honest. That's what I need to do. Now, hang on a minute. Let's see if I can see. Right. Okay. So yes. Oh, so it's showing me live there. I'm live. I finally got my live up on my. That's it. And I've got the sound off. That's good. So I can see myself over there. Oh, that's weird. Oh no, it's so weird, because because on here, on this one, I'm looking on StreamYard. My drawers are on that side, but actually in my room my drawers are here. Oh my goodness. So these pictures are reversed. Now this is confusing. Is it confusing? Yes, it's totally confusing me. Tracy's just added in the list of all the carnivals. Susan's in. Now she's saying that Wednesday night is Sandown Carnival, not Saturday. Are you sure? Can somebody put me right? Can somebody put me right? Because I thought Saturday was Sandown Carnival. I did think that they used to have a Wednesday, but maybe I've got totally confused now. Let's have a look. Sandown, the Children's Carnival is this 26th, followed by the main. No, Tracy's put the Children's Carnival is on July the 26th, followed by the main carnival. That's what I thought. The 26th, which is Saturday. I know they always used to be on a Wednesday, didn't it, Susan? So I don't know. Let's have a look. So Debs is saying that the Fastnet. Hang on. Deb said somewhere there, the Fastnet race in Cowes, the sailing, that is on the 26th of July. So Susan, you need to double check that, because I'm pretty sure it's the 26th. According to one marching band, it's Saturday. Right, Susan, I think you probably need to recheck, because I was confused when I saw that it was Saturday. Just checked it and it's Saturday. Always, yeah, absolutely. I don't know why they've changed it. I was confused, and when I saw it was Saturday, I thought, oh, I'm sure it used to be Wednesday. Well, maybe it's down to the member. Maybe it's to the people who organise the, the carnivals. It's got to fit in with everybody, hasn't it? They've got to have, all the people right. So let's have a look. So, sorry. Isle of Wight film productions. You quite like Sandown Carnival because you have a lot of memories of it and was in it in 2013 and 14. But Ventnor Carnival is good because it goes around the town twice. Yes, I recorded it twice. Last year at Ventnor, I did it once on Facebook and then once on YouTube, I think. And it goes around the track. Yes, they're all great. They all have their own. Hello, Carol. Carol's just come in. She's saying Saturday the 26th as well. So I think we're all on the same page now. Next Saturday is Sandown Carnival. Now what we want to do is pray for the sun, or not the sun, but not the rain. In the evening, we just want a nice evening. Tracy's checked it as well. We're all coming back with it as Saturday now, but I definitely know. I do remember seeing all the big banners in the path up along. They have lots of banners around the island, and I always remembered it being a Wednesday. But anyway, okay, we know now that it's Saturday. Where is the best place to stand for Ventnor Carnival? Well, that depends. I'm not quite sure what to say. I stand so in Ventnor. There's a place there. Don't know what it's called, but I stand right opposite. So some of the carnival floats are in this line up in this road, and some of them are up near the town council buildings up that road that comes down a hill, and I usually stand opposite so I can see them coming this way and that way. So I don't know if that's any help, but we'll see. But you might find better positions further around the town. It might be much better further around the town. I don't know. I like to be somewhere where I can sit on Navy Nora and not be in people's way, but them not being in my way either, because obviously if I'm there to record, I don't want people in my way. Yesterday at Isle of Wight Pride, it was great because we don't get as big a crowd for the Isle of Wight Pride parade, but those who do watch it mostly watch it down Union Street, our main street. So my bus, I'll go back to the beginning of the week and what I did at the beginning of the week, because we seem to have jumped and it really doesn't matter. But I was going to get the 37 bus down. The parade started, the Pride parade. If we're going to do the Pride parade, I better get look, right, this is better get my Pride gear on, except I can't see with my sunglasses on. Look, this is my Isle of Wight Pride ready. They gave me these wristbands. Whoops, I can't get them on. I'll put it over my hand like that because they're a bit tight. I've got two of those they gave me. They gave me while they were walking in the parade. They came over to me with a bucket, and I thought they wanted me to put money in it, and they didn't. They had things like this and sweeties in it. So there we are. Look, okay. Do I look like I'm ready for the Pride parade? And this is one of my bags, and I've got a handbag like this as well. So that's how I was yesterday. Right. So anyway. There we go. Look. Right, I'm going to put these down. I'm going to take the sunglasses off because I cannot really see very well out of them. It's made everything go dark. Now there's a surprise. Look, but it does make people laugh. And I'm going to take that off because it's hot. It's too hot. So let's put all those things back over there. So yesterday for the Pride, I wasn't sure if I was going to go because we'd had rain, heavy rain in the morning, and the parade was at 11. I'd been up. I'd gone to bed early, and I got up early, and I thought I'm not going out if it's wet. Because those of you, hi Sam, nice to see you in. What was I going to say? Sorry, I'm still trying to get YouTube up over here. This is crazy. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And fans, a great idea. Yes. Thank you, fans. Dear, oh dear. Oh, my goodness. Let's have a look. So yes, I wasn't sure if I was actually going to go to the parade. I'm not a wimp, but some people may not realise that I was very ill with pneumonia. Any of you who have been watching for a long time will know that, but any new viewers won't know, and weren't going. No, you weren't going if it was wet either. No, well, I wasn't because I had pneumonia. I'm very fearful of getting wet and then getting cold, because I don't want to go back there. It was such an awful experience that I just have a little bit of a sense of self-preservation. So I thought there's no point in going out and getting wet. Not a good idea. So that I didn't do. Right. Oh, Richard's saying the silly Reform Council Worcester have banned. Hang on. Oh, you're prompting me. Thank you. Sorry. Silly Reform Council Worcester have banned pride flags for next year on council biddings. Flags not exactly a priority when people dealing with the cost of living crisis. So that's what they're saying. But okay. Oh no, that's right. I wasn't going to go if it was wet. Definitely not. Let's just go back. Props at the ready. Absolutely, props at the ready. Oh, Richard's saying that the weather is saying going to be sunny spells with less than a 1% chance of rain. That's good. Thank you, Mr. Weatherman. It looks like it's an all-day event. Yeah, I think. Do you mean this carnival? I think there's lots of things going on over there. So that let's see. You see why I get fed up on my phone now is because the comments are not scrolling. They're not scrolling. I've got to keep pushing the comments up here. It's a bit of a nuisance. Sam came in. I think did I say hello to Sam? I'm not quite sure if I did. Anyway, let's see. Yeah. So So I was not going to go if it was wet yesterday, and then the weather it had I think I was going to go into town. I didn't take a picnic. I got some picnic food, but I didn't take a picnic because I thought, no, I'll go into town. I'll watch the parade and I'll come home. I thought it wasn't going to be very, very nice weather or anything like that. Anyway, long story short, as Tracy knows, I did not come home. I did not leave Ryde until about 5 o'clock in the evening. Yes, Connell, just call you John Kelly. Lol, John Ketley. Right, does John Ketley do reporting? I think I know who John Ketley is. I'm forgetting. I do forget sometimes, so you have to prompt me. Okay. So, wait a minute, let's just... I'm still trying to get those other comments up. I tell you what, I'll go on. I'll do it on my laptop. I won't bother on the other screen. Have you heard of the YouTuber called White Wander? He lives in Ryde, but he does videos around the island about the history. No, I have not. I have not. Isle of Wight Film Productions. I will have to look at that. White Wander. Can you drop me a message? Because I might forget that unless somebody can prompt me. So let's see. Let's go on YouTube here. So White Wander or White Wanderer. I did find somebody doing a lovely video, a coastal walk the other day on the island, but he was that person was a visitor. That's right. So do you know what? I'm not going to fiddle about with this anymore. I'm getting so fed up with that. Right. So right. John Ketley used to be a weatherman. Yes. I know now, Susan. Thank you for that. White Wanderer. You've put a link there, Richard, but if somebody can drop the link into my box, we just won't call you Michael Fish. No, good idea. So anyway, yesterday, I decided I would go. The parade was starting at 11, and it's not very far from me. There's a bus that goes at the end of my road at 10:30. supposedly. It's supposed to go from there at 10:30, but you know, um, it didn't come. And so what happened? I live 3 minutes from the bus stop, and because looked like it might rain, it had stopped raining, but I thought I'm going to go. Because it looked like rain, I thought, well, I'm not going to go and stand at the bus stop for ages, just in case there's a burst of rain. It takes me 3 minutes to get there, so I usually allow a couple of extra minutes, so about 5 minutes, to get to the bus stop. Got down there, and then when I got there, it said however many minutes was left for the bus to come, and then all of a sudden it said 49 minutes or 59 minutes for the bus to come. They're once an hour. And it suddenly started saying 59 minutes for the bus to come. And I'm thinking, oh, has it not? It did. I looked to see about the road closures. Now, for most of the carnivals, what they do is they close the roads off before the carnivals start and leave them until the carnival's finished. But for some of the smaller ones, like the Pride and the Mardi Gras, they do what they call a rolling road closure. So they only close the roads as the parade is coming to that bit of the road. So they have all the signs ready, because I was watching the guys. They have the signs ready at the sides of the road, and then as the carnival's coming, they pop out. They come along in their vehicle, and they pop out and they put the road closed signs up. And then when it's gone past, they move them. So it's what they call a rolling road closure. Now, I was my bus, so I thought I'd missed the bus. I thought, well, it's obviously on diversion, it's not coming, except that on the app you can see where the bus is, and I could see that it was further away, but I was confused because it was telling me it was nearly an hour for the next bus, and if I waited for the next bus I was going to miss the parade. So I thought, well, I'll walk. It's not that far, but I preferred not to walk if I didn't have to. Anyway, what happened, other friends of mine who live in my road came down just after me, and they were obviously going to see the parade. They're people who live in my road, so Helen and Jake, and they used to go to all the carnivals, and we used to see each other on the buses going there and coming back. That's how I really got to know them, and they see me live streaming and that. So anyway, I said to Helen, I don't know what's happening. I said, because the bus, suddenly says it's 49 minutes. Anyway, she said, no, the bus is coming. Look, you can see it on the app. Well, apparently what happens, it makes the app hiccup. If it's late, and then they're telling you when the next bus is coming, which is an hour later. If it's hiccuped and it hasn't got here, sometimes it doesn't show the bus that you're waiting for, which is very helpful. Not. So anyway, I decided to wait a bit because they decided that the bus was coming. So I thought, right, well, we'll wait here together. So we did wait there together. And then and then their dog escaped. So their dog came running down the road. So Jake had to run up the road and take the dog back. Oh, he got the cat with him, I think, as well. So I thought, well, you're going to miss the bus if you don't hurry. Anyway, he ran up, but because the bus was quite late, he managed to get back, in time for the bus as well. Hurricane, not John Ketley, was Michael Fish, infamous for that. Yes, Michael Fish. For anybody who doesn't know what the English people in here are talking about, John Ketley was a weatherman, and Michael Fish was a weatherman, and Michael Fish got one of the weather forecasts very, very wrong, and didn't realise I think, as Richard's saying, it was a hurricane was coming in, and Michael Fish didn't tell us there was a hurricane coming in. I can't remember the exact details. I'm sure somebody will put the details in. Righty ho. So let's Noah's Ark with those animals. Oh, what you mean for the floods? Do you mean for the floods for Noah's Ark? Let's go back. I think I've missed some comments. Hang on. So, hang on. Let's have a look. John Ketley is a weatherman's song. Said storms in the... Oh, no, this is Michael Fish. Said storms in... Wasn't a tornado or something. Worse UK storms. Yes, it was. Debs, it was. Richard's put that in there. Right, I think I've caught up with the comments. Let's have a look. Talking of rain, it's ridiculous that water for Isle of Wight now pumped across the Solent by Southern Water as reservoirs on island are mostly taken out of commission. Oh, do you know, nothing makes sense anymore to me. especially on the island. Especially on the island, you know. I mean, we live in a time warp. I think the time warp's getting warpier, if that's a word. Is that a word? Warpier? I don't know. It is now. It's a Humpty Dumpty word. I can make it mean whatever I want it to mean. That reminds me of my daddy, nostalgia, and I will come to nostalgia in a minute because I went to a show on Friday called Nostalgia. So we'll go there in a minute. But let's just have a look at the comments. Hang on. Noah's Ark with those animals. Whoops, hang on. No dog and cat with the bus. no. And at this point, it wasn't raining. It wasn't raining cats and dogs, which is another English expression that we use. And you know, it's just one of those things that sticks in my head that comes out now and again. One of those weird expressions that I often do, as you know. So that's a bit bonkers, but never mind. So. Let's see. Oh, right, I've got that one back up now. I've got your Facebook back up over here now, so I can see that. So yes. So going to the Pride. So we'll do Saturday, and then we'll go back to the beginning of the week. So the bus eventually came, and it came at about 2:45. It's supposed to come at 2:30, and it came at 2:45. Or it might have even been gone past 2:45. And the parade was starting at 11 in Queen's Road, which is round the corner. The bus doesn't go along Queen's Road, but the parade will be waiting to come out Queen's Road, and the bus comes round here and down West Street, and the parade goes down West Street. So if the bus wasn't quick, it wasn't going to be able to get past before the parade. Anyway, and then I'm thinking, well, what are we going to do? Because if that happens, we're stuck on the bus and we'll miss the parade. Anyway, that didn't happen. He did get down to the bus stop that was just past where the road with the parade in was. And then he said, I'm not going to, he said, my next stop is the bus station, which meant he wasn't going to go down Union Street, which is the way he usually goes. And I was going to get off at Union Street and probably probably stand in front of French Frank's, which is just around the corner from the bus stop in Union Street, which is where I was last time. But I got off at the previous stop and then walked down the road. It was downhill, fortunately. Walked down the road and along Lynn Street. And I thought, you know what? Lynn Street's not got people in it. They're all down in Union Street, which is just around the corner. So although you get the atmosphere when everybody else is around, when you're trying to video, what you don't want is people getting in the way or bumping into you. And so I decided to stop in Lynn Street, and I had the perfect place because I stopped by the bollards where the road narrows a bit, and there was no pedestrians or anything there. And so I had a perfect view all the way down Lynn Street, and they appeared. You know, I saw so that at the front you get one of the people who do the road management. They come first, and you can see, you know, they come in front of the parade, so I could see them when they came round the corner. So I was ready, and of course you could hear the band. You can hear the band a long way away. So I was there. I don't know. I don't think I've put it up. Oh, yes, I think I've put it onto YouTube, but I haven't made it public yet because I've just got to put the blurb in that goes underneath it. I'll try and get that done tonight before I go to bed, but I'm not promising. But it was about 15 minutes to parade. It was very nice, very colourful, lots and lots of rainbows and lots of smiley people. I had one guy run out of the parade and run round, and I thought he wants to give me a hug, and he did say that. He said, "Can I give you a hug?" I said, "Yes, you can." So he gave me a hug, and then off he went. But of course, lots of people in the parade know me, but there are a lot of people in the Pride parade who come over from the mainland who don't know me. A lot of islanders know me, but so when I'm recording like I was yesterday, I have a tripod on the ground and I have a mount that I put my phone in, and on the back of the mount in big letters it says "Go Live Granny." So anybody approaching from the other side where I'm filming can see that it says "Go Live Granny." So some people who, you know, were obviously people from the mainland saw it, and they smiled and they waved, and people I knew waved to me. And then, you know, so it's quite nice. It's a very nice thing. you know, to be involved in all these parades, all these lovely people. So I did get a very good shot. At one point, the one pedestrian that was on my side of the road decided to cross the road right in front of the camera, but it really didn't matter. It didn't spoil anything because at that point the parade was right down the other end of the road, so it was okay. But when I first started doing my recording, I didn't like to sort of put myself out there. I was sort of, I can remember the first one I did in Ventnor, and I was standing near a bus stop, and so was the world and his wife. We were all in the same place, and I was trying to squeeze in to get my camera up. And of course, that's all very well, but when the carnival comes, people stand forward right in front of you, you know, and so if you're recording, then all you get is their heads. So I got bolder as the years went on, as the time went on, and I remember saying to people, "Oh, excuse me, we're especially when I was live streaming. I said we're live streaming to the world. The world is watching in. Could you just move over a little bit, please?" And mostly they're fine. I had the person from hell, the one who didn't care, in Shanklin one year, and we were out near Dacia's hotel, and I think it was somebody on holiday who actually was staying at Dacia's hotel, and he stood right. You know, we'd been waiting ages and ages and ages, and then he stood right in the middle of the road, with so that the carnival's coming this way, but he's standing there. He could have stood back a bit, and then we could have seen round him, but he refused to move, which was not very helpful. He had to move when the carnival came because otherwise it would have run him over. But I think just, you know, that's not very nice, is it? Not very friendly. I wasn't rude. I try not to be rude. You know, sometimes people are rude to me, but, you know, I've had an issue this week too. Humpty Dumpty word, good reference for Alice in Wonderland. Absolutely is, isn't it? So Friday evening, Isle of Wight Film Productions went to Ventnor Fringe to watch Elton John tribute act. It was amazing. Well, do you know what? I went to Ventnor Fringe as well. I've never been to Ventnor Fringe before, but you know, I tell you what. Let's finish Saturday. Oh, I'm hopping all over the place here. I don't know whether I shall remember anything. Oh, Tina Furnival's in the house. Hello, Tina. Nice to see you in. Sorry, that was about 6 minutes ago you came in. Sorry. I'm having a job seeing the comments because I still can't get my phone to go in portrait. I'm really going to have to. Well, I'm hoping to visit my son soon, so he might be able to sort that out for me. Or I might even be possibly getting a new phone. I don't know. Got to see about that one. So, anyway, let's see. So yes, so I managed to get the parade done, and then I thought, oh well, I'll just go and see Helen in Isle of Wool. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that because it cost me. I was only going in to say hello, and if any of you saw my live stream from Isle of Wool, you'll see that I said I was only going in to say hello. But of course, I didn't only go and say hello. I spent some money as well. I think I need to put a light on. We're getting a bit dark in here. It's getting dark. Let's see. I don't know if I can put this. I don't know which is the best one to have on here. Wait a minute. This one I have to fiddle about with, and it decides to come on sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't because I'm doing it remotely. You know, I can't see the switches. I have to do it with my fingers. It's a touch one, and I fiddle about, and sometimes it comes on, and sometimes it's come on now. That's all right. Sorry. I don't know if that's made the light worse or better. Anyway, we won't worry about that. So, yes, so Saturday, that's right. So I thought, oh, I'll go round to Isle of Wight. And I was just coming round. Oh, and that's right, I stopped to talk to some ladies because originally, yes, we had been for coffee, Tracy, but before I met you, I was just going to go to Isle of Wool. But what happened? There were some ladies sitting on the steps by the NatWest Bank. Originally, I was going to live stream from there. And then I thought I didn't know if I would be able to see. And of course, you can't. If you're on the steps at the NatWest, you can't see down Lynn Street. You can only see the bit in front. So of course, I was in a much better position. But as I came past the steps at the NatWest Bank, there were three ladies who'd got their chairs. They brought their chairs with them, and they were sitting on the NatWest Bank steps. By this time, the parade had gone, but I came along and I said, "Oh, you're having a nice time, aren't you?" And they chatted to me, and I ended up talking to them about the community cuppa, which is the group that I run. So for those of you who don't know, Jan, my friend Jan, set up a community hub group, you know, for people to come in, chat, have coffee, play games, knit, do some crafting, whatever. It's no charge. They can put a contribution in the pot if they want to, but it's an all-inclusive group and it's accessible, because although there's steps on one side, because I've got my walk, I go round the other side, and the other side has got a ramp, so I don't have to go up steps. And accessibility is so important. And you will hear about the non-accessibility that went on earlier in the week, and not best pleased with one of our MPs for that, but I'll tell you about that later. So let's just go back. Debbie's been to Hobbycraft. Let's have a look and see. So Heather, sorry, back to Heather. She said that you used the phrase in the US too, raining cats and dogs, right? So you know what I was talking about. I wasn't sure if you would understand that, you know, because we do have some funny phrases. So Debs has been to Hobbycraft for a peruse, and 3 paints. You bought 3 paints, did you? Well, I didn't even buy just 3 things. I bought more than 3 things. So that was not good. So let's just go here. I'm just still trying to do that because it would be so much easier if I could have those comments up there. That's what I'm trying to do. But anyway, gosh, I'm ever so hot, folks. I might have to go. I can't open the window in here. I've got a dormer window here, but it's stuck. And I pull on. I've got a pole with a hook on it, and I pull and I pull and I pull, but I can't get it open. I've got to have to get somebody to open it. If you don't understand the phrase, you search it and find out what it means. Oh, right, that's a good idea, Heather. So it doesn't matter if you don't understand what we're talking about. Do you have a little fan? I do have a little fan. I have a little fan like this. I can do this. There we go. I have got my little fan, but the little fan that I bought with a little battery in it is really rubbish. I bought it from the middle of Lidl, or my daughter bought it from the middle of Lidl. Lidl is one of the stores that we have here, Heather, and it's mostly groceries, but in the middle of Lidl, it's not groceries. And I got these fans, and it didn't really work very well, so that's not good. Right, so Carol's saying that Jan that runs the club, if you don't mind asking, is her last name Gavin? No, it's Jan Brooks. Jan Brooks. Let me show you. Let me put it in because I can on here. Whoops. So it's Jan Brooks. The community couple is run by Jan Brooks, folks, and she used to run Isle Access, which is it used to be a charity for all about accessibility, and she's done so much work on all of that over the years. I'm very disappointed that nobody's taken up on it, but she had to step down because of health issues. So yeah, so Jan Brooks, if you want to know. Oh, Deb's saying £120 later. Oh my goodness. So my spend wasn't so much in Isle of Wool. I did buy some other things in another place too, as Tracy will tell you. Oh, it is so warm. I have got an electric fan, but it's in the other room. And by the time I go and get it, you know, you'll be sitting here waiting forever. So I just fan myself with this, and I'll just have a little drink, and then I'll tell you what else went on. That's good. So, yes, so I was chatting to these ladies outside the bank. Well, no, it's not the bank. It's the old NatWest Bank, but it's where we do the Community Cuppa group. And the Community Cuppa runs from 9:30 to 12, three Fridays of the month. On the first Friday of the month, we have to finish at 11:15 because they have another meeting that comes in after us, and they have to get the chairs and tables all sorted out. But these 3 ladies, I ended up telling them about the Community Cuppa, And they said, oh, I'd like to know about that. Well, it just so happened that I had my leaflets. I had Jan's leaflets that she did for me in the bag, because I'd asked her to give me some leaflets last week when I went to the Isle of Wight Chamber of Commerce, because it costs us to hire that room. But of course, we're pensioners and we don't have endless, amounts of money. And so I said to Jan, no, don't worry. When they said that they were going to charge us, I said, don't worry, we'll get the money. We'll get the money from local businesses, because local businesses like to support that sort of thing. And the thing is, I knew what I was talking about because I've done it years before. So Jan was very pleased, and off I went, and I got some sponsorship for the first few sessions. And Isle of Wool was one of the businesses that sponsored, because we're not being charged a huge amount of money. And local businesses like to support good causes, and I know that. And so businesses that engage with the community, really, they just get it. They get it. So hang on, let's just. Oh my goodness, my laptop's going to die in a minute because the battery's gone and the charger's in the other room. Well, if it dies, I'll just have to stick on my phone. That's all. Because I shall lose the will to live in a minute. Oh dear. I didn't think about bringing the battery for the laptop. So hang on. Right, let's just scroll up a bit. I'll show you what I bought in the wool shop in a minute. So we'll wait. It's important for you to be comfortable. All right. Well, this is fine, Heather. I can do it like this. But Carol's saying thank you. So Susan wants to know what you bought in Hobbycraft. Sadly, haven't been to Hobbycraft for ages. Well, I have, of course, Susan, because when I go to the mainland, there's a Hobbycraft near my daughter, so she takes me. So I'm quite lucky there. So anyway, so I chatted to these ladies, and because I had some leaflets, Jan had given me some leaflets. I'd asked Jan to get me some leaflets before I went to the Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, because I said, if you give me leaflets, I'll come back with sponsorship for the community cuppa. I can talk and tell people about it, but if they're at a busy expo, they might not remember. Whereas if they've got a leaflet about the community cuppa, they might remember. And I was very lucky, because one of the first businesses I spoke to, they said, oh yes, we'll sponsor, and they implied that they would sponsor for quite a few weeks. I'm not talking 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm talking quite a few more weeks than that. And then I spoke to other people. Some of them I just told about it and said, if you know anybody. And some of them, and then another one said, oh yes, we'll so PC Consultants said they would do sponsor 5 weeks. So that was brilliant. So we've got quite a lot of weeks already sponsored. You would like to go, but you live in Brading, and so what bus would I need to get, please? And where do I get off? Right. So Tracy, right. I was going to ask Tracy, but there she is. Look, so Carol, you would get the 2 or 3. Look, Tracy's put let's put the comments up on the screen. Okay. Hang on. Show it on the stage. There we go. Right. Let's take that off. There we are. So you get the 2 or the 3 and get off at Weatherspoons. So Weatherspoons is in Union Street, Carol. I don't know if you know that. And literally, you just, so if you get off at Weatherspoons, then you just come back up the hill a bit and just round the corner, and the NatWest Bank is just over there. But Carol, if you need me to chat with you privately in Messenger, then let me know. Thing is, if you're coming, we like to look out for people who are coming if we know they're coming. Some people not very keen to come into a room they've never been in before. If that's the case, I always try and face the door. Whenever I'm in the group, I try and face the door. If I'm making the coffee, I can't necessarily do that. But I try and keep my eye on the door, because I know that there are people who are a little bit nervous sometimes about coming in a room. Some are not, but some are. And we don't want anybody to be excluded. So, right, let's take... Thank you, Tracy, for that. Let's take that off. There we go. So, Carol, do you know where Weatherspoons is? I expect you might be familiar with where that is. It's at the top of Union Street. So the bus comes along Cross Street from Brading, and then it will start going down Union Street, and that's where you want to get off. And it's literally so. There we are. Look, Tracy's saying, if you're not sure where to get off, Carol, ask the driver to let you know when you get to Wetherspoons. Absolutely, because the drivers are pretty good, most of them. So she's saying yes. So I think, does that mean you know where the bank is? Hopefully. The bank is, well, it's not a bank anymore. Funnily enough, while we've been running the group, people have come in and expecting it to be a bank. And they're very surprised when it's a group of people sitting drinking coffee, because I think somewhere it must still be shown as a bank online. But anyway, so Carol, we would love to see you. I'm there most weeks. Occasionally I'm away at my daughter's, but this week I'm going to be there. Next week I'm going to be there. I haven't got plans to go off island in the next fortnight, and I haven't got plans. I don't know what the next thing is. I know one of my other children wants me to do a visit, so I've got to try and squeeze it in. I was trying to decide which carnivals I wanted to be at, when I could squeeze a visit in to see one of my other children. So anyway, we'll see. And just right on cue, my daughter just sent me a message on WhatsApp, but I can't see it because I'm talking to you lovely people, so I'm not going to try and see what that message is until after the broadcast. Yes, so while I was when I just finished talking to these three lovely ladies and given them the leaflets, and they all wanted a leaflet, which meant they all might like to come. They didn't want just one of the ladies to have the leaflet, so I gave them all a leaflet. And then as I turned round, there was Tracy and Tasha, and they had looked to see if I'd live stream. So they went on my Facebook page to see if I was live streaming, and of course I wasn't, because I was recording on a video. But they came round the corner, because I think they'd been in Union Street, and I had said to them that I might be outside French Frank's. Well, of course I didn't record from outside French Frank's, but where I was standing talking to the ladies outside the bank, I was on the opposite side of the road from French Frank's. So when they came around the corner, they saw me across the way talking to these lovely ladies. So we decided that we were going to go and have some coffee. And so where we were just there, we decided to, Tracy and Tasha had not been in the department, which is the new. Hello, Steve. Steve has just come in the house in YouTube. Carol's saying you'll be there tomorrow. Carol, it's Friday. It's Friday. I don't know if you're going to be in town tomorrow, but the community cuppa is on a Friday. All right, so we won't be there tomorrow, but you might be in town tomorrow. I don't know whether you meant that you're going into ride tomorrow anyway. But the community cuppa is on a Friday. Okay, so Friday 9:30. Okay, so that's when we'll be there. And just drop me a message. So anyway, Steve is saying good evening, Heather, because Heather's on YouTube. Lots of other people in, Steve. We've got Carol in, we've got Debs, we've got Susan, we've got Tina. Quite a few people there. Oh, Richard's in. I can't see all the names now. I'm having trouble with my I still can't rotate my phone. Steve's just got back from a lovely cool walk in Kennington Park. Excellent. Well, I'm trying to keep cool now. So this is not my biggest fan. I think you're my biggest fans, folks. This is a smaller fan. So anyway, yeah. So I've been talking about my week. So I started off talking about Monday, and then Tracy's saying hi, Steve. She's saying hi. Tracy's saying hi, coming in from Facebook. Steve is in YouTube. Steve is the window cleaner. Steve, he's in the house. So Carol's saying no, she got that wrong, and we'll be there on Friday. Excellent. I'm glad you got the date right now. I didn't want you to come and have a wasted trip. Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, Steve, that's a lovely yes. Yeah. Well, Steve, you missed a bit. I've been I had it the wrong way round. Look, the colours are better this side. Let me do this bit for you, Steve, because yesterday I've just been talking all about Isle of Wight Pride. So look, I had all these, and oh no, I can't see, and my lovely bag. And then people in the parade gave me these lovely, lovely armbands. I'm not putting them on now because they're a bit tight and they make me a bit hot. Got to take these off because I can't see, and that makes me hot. So there we are. So that's why. So let's have a look. Wait a minute. Fab Pride. So absolutely. So Steve saying hi, Tracy. Oh, Steve is he says, I am, but I think I've got the day off tomorrow. I think he means that he is the window cleaner. Is that what you mean? But it's raining. Of course, window cleaning and rain, that's not a great combination, is it? Anyway, he likes all the Pride stuff. That's brilliant. So, yes, so I was recording Pride yesterday, and it will be on my YouTube channel. It's up, but it's not set to public yet because I haven't put all the blurb in. Yes. Oh, yes, you were saying. So he was saying yes to the window cleaning bit. Oh, dear. Keep up, Lynn. So anyway, Tracy and Trisha and I decided to go for coffee in the department, which is the lovely new. Well, it's a venue. It's got a cafe in it. It's got a theatre in it. It's got some rooms where artists, work, artist studios. It's got a sewing room. It's got a dance studio. It's got a shop. It's got an exhibition area. At the moment, in the exhibition area is the Pooh Museum. And I went to the Pooh Museum with Kath the other, couple of weeks ago when Kath and John were on the island, and I still haven't got all my pictures up. I know, pictures of Pooh. What am I talking about? You will see. So Steve said he shall watch my Pride video. Okay, it's not, as I say, it's on YouTube, but it's set to private at the moment. I'll try and get it set to public. I just have to put all the blurb in before I make it go public. So I need to do that. So we decided that we would, as Tracy and Tasha had not been in the works, I said, well, let's go for coffee. Not the works. We did go to works later. In the department, then we would we would go there for coffee. So we went in there for coffee, and we there's a disabled lift. No, the lift isn't disabled. Well, it was. I have to use the lift because I have a wheeled walker, and my lovely friend Jan, who used to run the Isle Access charity, she was the advisor when they refurbished the department. She was advising on disability issues. So it has wonderful toilets for disabled. It's got wonderful lifts, and ramps and all that sort of thing. It's so accessible, which is brilliant. But I said to Tracy and Tasha, I said, "Oh, come up in the lift with me. It's big enough for all of us to get in." Anyway, we stood there and pushed the button. Well, first, it's one of those lifts, when you look in it, you can't always tell whether the lift's there or not. And I thought the lift was there, but it looks, when the lift's not there, it still looks the same as when the lift is there. It's a bit confusing. Well, almost the same. Anyway, so of course, it wasn't coming, and it wasn't coming. So we sent Tasha up the stairs because somebody'd left the door open upstairs. So obviously the lift's not going to come down if the door's open upstairs. So anyway, she came down in the lift, and we got the lift, and up we went, and we had some coffee, and we set the world to rights. And the people in there, they said, "Oh, we haven't seen you for a while." I said, "No, because I do go in there quite a bit." I said, "No, I've been on the mainland. I've been busy." But anyway, so we were there. We sat and chatted and put the world to rights. And I think you liked it, didn't you, Tracy? There's a wee museum. The Pooh Museum is a wee museum. It's not very big. And it's funny because the Pooh Museum used to be in Sandown, and then it closed in Sandown, and it came to the department, and then it's going to go on tour at the end. It's open until towards the end of August, and then it's going on tour. And funnily enough, I watched YouTube this week, and I watched somebody who'd done a coaster walk along from Bembridge, along toward Shanklin, and along to Ryde, on the coastal walk, and so through Sandown, and he was talking about the Pooh Museum, and it looked like he'd only just recorded it, but he must have recorded it some weeks ago because the Pooh Museum was still in Sandown, because he referred to the Pooh Museum in his video, and I thought, no, it's not in Sandown, it's in Ryde, but I thought it had closed some weeks ago, so I don't know. Bit confused on that one, but no, anyway. So Tracy's saying it was lovely in the department, but then we did not come straight out of the department, did we, Tracy? We did not. We stopped to look at the shop, and they have such unusual things. Oh, I where are the things I've bought for my grandson? That sounds good. Pooh on tour. Well, I must get all the pictures up. It was fascinating, that the museum. You pay to go in that bit, and I was thinking, oh, I wonder whether it's worth paying. But actually, when Kath and I went in there a couple of weeks ago, we were in there for ages. There were levers to pull. There were toilet chains to pull that opened toilet seats and then had information inside. Then there was a whole load of things about different animals' poo. I mean, it sounds awful, but it's actually very interesting. As I say, when I first heard about a poo museum years ago, I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? And I was a bit stuffy about it. But so she said, no, we didn't. And I forgot what question I asked. Anyway, so it was really good. It was really good. And apparently they'd had a lot of people through because it's right in the middle of Ryde, and because there were a lot of people in Ryde for the Pride Parade. And of course, for the Pride Parade, it's not just our local people. We get a lot of people come across from the mainland to join in the Pride. And the Pride, there was it was the parade, but then down on the esplanade there was a lot going on. We didn't go down there for the rest of that. We should have done. It might have been cheaper, mightn't it, Tracy? but we didn't go down there. We stayed in town, and so we left. So we finished in the department, and then I wanted to go and see Helen, say hello to Helen at Isle of Wight. Now you see, because I'm doing this in reverse, I saw Helen on Thursday night, and I wanted to know what she made of the meeting, because she was at the same meeting as I was, and I wanted to hear what she thought about it, and so I wanted to go and catch up with her. So Tracy came out without spending any money in the shop, but Lynn didn't. No, I did not. And have you noticed my nice new earrings? I can't see which way round they are. Are they? I don't know. Yes, I think that's the right way. Can you see? Can you see what I've got? Can you see? Glitter balls. They're glitter balls. And of course, I couldn't resist, could I? And it's my birthday soon. So this was my birthday present to me. They look like disco. They are. They're disco balls. They're glitter balls, which is amazing. I've actually got a glitter ball, but I was going to bring that and put it up here to go with this jewellery. But I think it's on the back of the door, and there's things in front of the door. And if I start doing that now, you might lose the will to live. So yeah, they're wonderful. And there was some amazing jewellery there. This lady, apparently she lives on the island. Can you remember what she traded as, Tracy? What the name is? What her trading name is? I can't remember. Something design, but it began with a T, but I can't remember what it was because the box is in the other room. Link, you can borrow my disco lights and you'll have the full set. Right, that would be good. Absolutely. And my disco ball, I got it in Poundland. It wasn't a pound, it was more than a pound. And funnily enough, isn't it funny how you have some conversations you don't talk about for a long time, and then you have the same conversation twice in within a couple of days. So I was telling Tracy, Tracy can't remember either. we are daft, aren't we, between us? So anyway, my glitter ball's about that size. I don't know. Let's see if I could see if I can get it off the door. Wait a minute. Let's have a look. I might or I might not. Let's have a look. Oh, it's easy to get to. Easier than I thought. Okay. But not really what I would hang on my ear. So this is my glitter ball. And for those of you abroad, I don't know whether you know that that we have a program called Strictly Come Dancing, and the dancers, there's a professional dancer, and then they team up with celebrities, and each week somebody gets knocked out, but the winners get a glitter ball. Well, I wanted my own glitter ball, and I saw this in Poundland some years ago, and I was recounting this story to Tracy and Tasha just yesterday, I think, was it? Tracy's saying a lady who makes jewellery in Ryde is likely the owner of Serendipity jewellery, which is hang on, located in Ryde on the Isle of Wight. Yeah, well, this lady, the person who does this, I might go and get the box. The person who does this jewellery trades all over the world, apparently. Let's just push the door back. Whoops. Oh dear, oh dear. Right. So Saturday Night Fever is the glitter ball film. That's right. Oh, you have Dancing with the Stars. Yes, Heather. So that's the same sort of thing. But I saw this glitter ball in Poundland, and I know everything in Poundland used to be £1, but of course it isn't anymore. This was originally £5, which I still think is good for something like that. But after Christmas one year, and I think this was pre-COVID, so we're going back a long time. I've had this a long time, and I'm pretty sure it was pre-COVID. And I was in Poundland, and they had their sale. They get rid of all their all the Christmas stuff and all that sort of thing. So I bought a whole load of stuff because they were selling it things. I mean, I think this was about £2, possibly, which is amazing for something like that. But they were selling lots of Christmas stuff off at 25p and 50p. You know, it was just too good not to do your Christmas shopping. And so I had a whole load of stuff that I was buying. And it wasn't, I wasn't spending a fortune because it was so cheap. And this miserable so-and-so in the queue in front of me, he turned around and he saw me with all this stuff. And he said, you know, you've got a lot of stuff there or something like that. And I said, oh, yes, I'm getting the bargains in for next year. He said, you might be dead by next Christmas. I thought, hello, mister, you're Mr. Cheerful, aren't you? I said, yes, and I might not be dead. And if I'm not dead, I've got all these things to go give for Christmas. And if I am dead, my children can have all this stuff to give away. I thought, oh, how miserable. Fancy spending your life going around being as miserable as that. I can't, it it beggars belief, doesn't it? Oh, you might be dead. Well, I wasn't, and I didn't even die of pneumonia either, which was after that. So anyway, but I do have my glitter ball, and I just love it. But then when I saw these, well, I couldn't resist. I mean, I just had to have them. And then I thought, well, I'd have to wear them tonight. You have a store called Dollar Tree. Yeah, yes, I've heard of Dollar Tree. It started out being everything $1. Now everything is priced a little higher than we have. But still, yeah, absolutely. And Poundland is still the same for us. But I think some of the Poundlands are closing down. Didn't you tell me, Tracy, yesterday that one of the ones is closing down? Was it Poundland you told me that was closing down in Cowes? So I think some of the stores are going. I think I'm right on that one. Anyway, I'm going to put my glitter ball down. Where should I put my glitter ball down? I tell you what, I'll put my glitter ball down inside my hat. Look, how about that? My pride glitter ball. I could put its glasses on, couldn't I, too? Look, how about that? Dear. Oh, grow up, Leah. No, I refuse to grow up. I'm not going to grow up anytime soon. So we had an amazing session. Cowes Poundland is closing end of this month. Yes, I thought that's what you told me, Tracy. So that'll be a bit sad, but we're all right because we had Poundland in Ryde, and then it moved further up the road. It extended. It became a bigger Poundland. And they still do a lot of good stuff in there. They do a lot of very cheap, tacky stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff as well. And you just pick the bits. And I had they had an app. Well, they've got an app, but initially they were trialing it on the Isle of Wight and somewhere else. I'm not quite sure where they were trialing it. Was it? I don't know. I can't remember where else. And so I had the app in the in the early days when they were trialing it. So you got extra perks and things like that. So hang on, what's going on? They look nothing like they do. Oh, hang on. Oh, I missed Steve's comment. I saw Heather's comment and thought I must have missed a comment. Heather, you also had Greg, Peter, and Bobby on The Masked Singer, if I'm right, from the Brady Bunch. I missed that comment. So Heather saying yes, they look nothing like they did on the Brady Bunch. They're all in their 60s now. Yep, and some of us are beyond that even. So anyway, so just trying to remember where I got to. Well, we were still in the store, so I know I'm going to go and get what I've bought for my grandson. If I can see it quickly, I don't know if I can, but if I can see it quickly, I'm going to make you laugh. I think. Well, I might make you laugh or I'll make you cry. I've done some Christmas shopping. Hang on. Whoops. I'm back. Now, some of you... Now, this is the sort of thing I once never, ever would have bought. Never would have bought these years ago. But life changes, doesn't it? And different things happen. Susan's given up with the Poundland app. Rarely ever works for me. It's not so good now. On a Wednesday, you're supposed to do a spin. Oh, excuse me. It gives you extra points. But actually, I don't buy so much stuff in there anymore anyway. But I did get some good things in there before. I got some vouchers and things, and it worked for me before. Anyway, going back to the Pooh Museum, I have a grandson of whom I'm very proud. Hang on, my computer's done something. What's it doing? Let's this one over here. I don't want it to make changes to my computer. It's trying to do things that I don't ask it to do. And so I'm very proud of my grandson. And the reason I went to the mainland this week was to see my grandson on Tuesday. But we're doing the reverse order. So we're doing Saturday. We're going back to Friday. We're going backwards in the week because we jumped to Saturday somehow. I don't know how we did that, but never mind. So I don't know what you think of me. Once upon a time, I would never, we weren't even brought up to talk about poo or anything like that. But of course, there are reasons now to talk about it, with the cancers and things like that. And on the island, we've had a campaign where and I need to put the pictures out because again it was connected to things that I haven't got all my photographs up yet now, but some of the GPs on the island hit on this brilliant idea of decorating toilet bowls, whatever you call them, toilets, and I think six of them appeared round the island suddenly. Suddenly there was a toilet, a blue fancy toilet, and then there was another painted toilet, and another painted toilet. They kept appearing, but it was actually a really brilliant campaign. It was a campaign to do with bowel cancer, and it really made people stop and think. It was ever so powerful. It was just great, and I can't remember where they're on. I think they're on display. I think they're on display at the Key Arts Centre on the island. I think that's where they are. Would you know that, Tracy or Susan? The Museum of Convenience. So anyway, as I say, I would not have talked about... Gosh, I'm hot again. Where's my fan? Where did I put my fan? Oh, no, I've lost... Oh, there it is. So, as I say, I never once would have talked about it. But then, life changes, things happen. Sometimes, you change what you do or what you don't do, whatever. And I have bought my grandson this, and it's grow a poo. out of out of the phone and into your home. I'm not quite sure. Everyone's favourite message icon. Oh yes, so out of your phone, because of course you have the little poo emoji, don't you? Did you know it was National Emoji Day the other day? I did not use the poo emoji. Oh dear. So anyway, look, it's a little poo emoji. I know it's not a poo emoji. It says everyone's favourite message icon. In Asia, the poo is a symbol of good luck. Did you know? Just add water. It grows 6 times its size. Fun is our business. This is what it says on here. It says, yeah, not under 3. So there are instructions, and it grows. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Place your poo. I mean this poo, not your poo. Sorry, I am disgracing myself now. You've never used the poo emoji. No, I have never used the poo emoji. And I don't even know why I'm talking about it now. Tracy's just put the poo emoji up. Look, I didn't normally. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, Heather. Um, I find it funnier now than I used to. So there we go. Look. So there we go. Sorry, she just had to put it up there. Look, that's what she did. Let's take it off. Right. So this, I'm not quite sure. I think it's just a fun thing. It will grow to full size, and then when you take it out of the water, it shrinks down again. So I know that will be well received by my grandson and his father, very much so. I'm not sure really whether I've disgraced myself now, whether I should show you the other item I bought. Maybe yes, maybe no. But who thinks I should show the other one? You have 2 sons and they would like something like that. Yes. Well, you see, I know that that my son-in-law and my grandson will have great fun with this. Possibly my granddaughters as well, but I just thought so. So do you want to see? Right, Tracy says she wants to see the other item. She knows what the other item is because she was with me when I bought it. Because we were in the Pooh Museum, and then there were all these things all this merchandise to do with poo and all that sort of thing. But yes, it's all a bit of fun, as Tracy says. Yes, and if you can't have a good laugh, I think I've changed. Since COVID and all that, I've actually got more bold with these sort of things. I don't think I would have necessarily done this before COVID. My life changed at COVID, and whatever. So it is a poo timer. It's a 5-minute timer. Heaven help you if you need more than 5 minutes and somebody's got one of these in the house. It says 5 minutes. It says poo timer, and then you turn it upside down, and then it's got a little, it's got the sand that runs through. So it's that sort of timer, and you've got 5 minutes, and then it says it's time up. You've got to get wiping. Well, it's making Heather laugh. It is healthy to have a good laugh. So it says no more hanging around waiting for them to finish. Set them this timer going, and when their time is up, they better get wiping. That's what it says. And I just thought it would make one of those it's always fun to find those unusual Christmas presents to make people giggle. I know when I was younger, when my gran was alive, my mum and dad always did my gran a stocking up, and they did a silly stocking. So they would put things in her stocking like a balloon with a hole in it, or rubber gloves with a hole in it, or something so that utterly useless. But the hilarity that it caused. I mean, my gran thought it was hilarious. She had the same wicked sense of humour. And I just remember the nostalgia of that. And actually, nostalgia is something I'm going to come on to because I went to see a show on nostalgia on Friday night. So I will come on to that in a minute. You need one of those for your guest bathroom. Oh, well, Heather, I'll see. I'll have to go and get you one. I'll send you. Okay. See what I can do. Oh, my goodness me. Bad enough buying one now. Now going back to get another one to send to abroad. Oh, you've got to have a laugh, haven't you? You do a white. So Heather says that she says she needs one of these for the guest bathroom, right? Okay. And she says we do a white elephant gift exchange at Christmas. That would be fantastic. Well, let me see what I can do. And you know what?
What a great talking point that would be. I could be standing at the museum saying, I've come to buy one of these because I showed it on my live stream and now somebody in America wants them. Wowie! You know, the fame of the Pooh Museum. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, well, I find it funny, and I think some of you find it funny. I'm sure there'll be people who watch, you know, come into this stream, but watch it maybe on replay and then are not very amused by it. You know, like Queen Victoria. I am not amused, but we are amused. Some of us are amused. So anyway, so eventually, so wait a minute. Tracy's saying her poor kids at Christmas, they got it all. Tash had a pair of trainers one year, and I wrapped them up separately, and then wrapped the, whoops, and wrap the laces up separately, and oh, they were the last present. Oh, you meanie. Yeah, but that's the sort of thing we would do. I don't know that I would have done it years ago, but I certainly would do those sort of things now, because you know I've just got bolder. I don't know, just hilarious, isn't it? So anyway, so eventually we got out of the Pooh Museum. So we did all the so we didn't go round the Pooh Museum yesterday. I'd been round the Pooh Museum with Kath 2 weeks ago, and that's an area that you pay extra to go in. And you know, I'd been in once, so I wasn't going to go in again. Anyway, we were, we were looking. The gifts in that shop were so unusual. There were all sorts of wonderful things. Weren't there? I'm going to close my laptop down because its battery's just about to run out and it's not doing me any favours. So I'll just keep looking at this screen, see if I can get myself sorted for another time. So anyway, we decided that, you know, we needed to move on. We were in there for a long time, but it was good. We spent, you know, I spent some money. Well, so we went round all the, there were lots of lovely craft things in there, crafts for kiddies and all sorts of different things and beautiful jewellery and then all the Pooh stuff. And yes, and then we came round to the jewellery and I just couldn't resist. You know, these, they had my name on them. They were calling to me. They were saying, buy me, buy me, buy me. So I used the excuse that I bought, you know, that my birthday's coming and I bought this for me, for my own birthday present. So there we are, and that's my excuse. So, but that's not the only thing I bought, is it, Tracy? Because then we came out of the department, and the Isle of Wool is not far around the corner. So we went to the Isle of Wool, which is my friend Helen, and Tracy's coming there. She's met Helen. Tracy and Tasha met Helen before when I was there, and so so I went in there, and then I was chatting away with Helen, and then I spied some things that were saying, "Buy me, buy me, buy me." You know, I mean, all these things that jump out and tell me I've got to buy them. I think it's dreadful. It should not be allowed. Anyway, I did a live stream in there because I only went in to say hello. I didn't need any wool. I never need any wool because I got so much wool, but I still sometimes manage to buy wool. But I was not buying wool. I was not going to buy wool. Anyway, I turned round, and what did I see on the shelf? What do you think I saw, folks? Tracy, you're not allowed to answer this because you were there. Let's get the books out. Let's show you what I bought. So, hang on a minute. Right. So, what do you think I bought, folks? I turned round and I'm not sure. I think it was this one that was on the outside, sitting, looking at me as I turned round. I turned round to show Tracy a ball of wool. I think we were talking about the wool that I'm using to make Jan's cardigan, and I said when Jan's cardigan's done, I'm going to make one for myself, but choose a different colourway. And I said, "Oh, that's the one that's Jan's one." And so, and as I turned that way, sitting on the shelf was a pile of knitting books. I do not need any more knitting books. I really don't. But the mind was willing, but the flesh was weak. And I bought myself, look at this gorgeous knitting book with all these little fairies and a toadstool. And on the back, Look, there's another little house to knit and some more little lovely characters. So I saw that and I thought, I've got to have that. I've got to have that. And then underneath it was this, look, dinosaurs. Not only do you knit the dinosaurs, but you can knit the trees as well, and all the bits and pieces that go with the dinosaurs. Look on the back, all those lovely things. You know, this is just oof, this is like candy for me. My granddaughters will love these. One of my granddaughters has got a birthday coming, and I was thinking about that. Um, that she might like those. I bought this, you know. I had this, and then when I moved that one, look what was behind it. Look, it's a farmyard, and the house closes up. You know, you can fold it down. The bar. So there's a farmyard. Wait a minute. There's I think 3 different buildings. Let's see. Yes, look, can you see? It's the whole farmyard and all the animals and the play mat that goes with it. And I just thought that was amazing. Yes, Heather, I thought that Heather and I know each other because we are crafters and we connected through the same craft group, and then in fact I moved this. This was up on the side, and this is the top of a fairy house. It's not. Oh, I made in cardboard, and Heather's talking about the crafting. I made one of these in card. I also made a fairy house like that. That's the hat of it. That's the top of it. It was a gift box, and that's the top of the gift box. I don't know where the rest of it is. It's here somewhere. Oh, I can see it. Hang on. Hang on. Whoops. Oh, it's right up high. So, whoops. Hang on. Whoa. That is my fit. It's a bit squished. Got a bit squished, but that's the fairy house I made, and that's a gift box. Look, you can put a present in there. That's a gift box, but the top had come off, and I made one that was like this. Now I'm going to knit one. So there's the toadstool, and then there's more like well, that one. What do they call it? I don't know what they call it. Let's see what they call it. It's enchanted wood. Let's have a look. Wander through. So it says, "Welcome to Enchanted Woods, where every turn of the page leads to a magical adventure. Imagine stepping into a fairy tale brought to life with yarn and needles. Wander through charming bluebell cottages nestled under twinkling stars. Explore cozy toadstool houses hidden among mossy glades, and meet the enchanting knitting fairies and mischievous pixies who call this whimsical world home." And it's just amazing, and I just want to do it. It was such fun. And then, as I say, so the farmyard and dinosaur land. And it was at this point I was buying these that I think Tracy and Tasha decided. I said, well, don't wait for me, because I knew they had some shopping to do and they were going up into town, up the high. We were already in town, but they were going up the high street, and they said they were going to go in the works. And I said, oh, I might catch you up further up there later. And I was doing that, and I did a live stream. And I did a live stream in the shop saying I only came in to say hello. And then I had to show off the books. Because, of course, doing all that actually helps to publicise what Helen's doing there. And, you know, we need all the publicity we can get for all our little local shops. So that's what I was doing. And then while I sat down, so in the shop, it's quite a big shop. And then she's got a table where she does crochet or knitting lessons at the table, but I often sit down. Hang on a second. I often sit down in there when I'm chatting, because chatting to them, because it's I can't stand for very long. I don't think I wasn't going to say they can't stand me. No, I can't stand. I try and get them a lot of business. Actually, I do help. I do promote it a lot. Anyway, I was sitting there, done the live stream, looked up, and just over on the shelf there was this Playtime Pals. And I really don't need any more things like this, but this one, it just, again, they're just wide-eyed and beautiful, and they are calling out to me saying, buy me, buy me, buy me. And so I did. And then I said to Helen, right, I've got to go. She said, right, I'm banning you from the shop now. I don't think she wanted to ban me from the shop, really, if I was spending my money. But, you know, this, to me, this will give me so much pleasure. Even if I never get to knit them, I just love looking at pictures and just imagining, you know. But I will use these because, of course, I'm knitting lots for charity now. I'm knitting, you know, for the fundraising for the carnival, for any of the good causes on the island, and it just puts me into another world. I mean, just these some of these I could whip up quickly because they've got they call it a teddy tombola for the ride carnival, but it doesn't have to be teddies. It's any little toys, you know. So some of those might come in. It depends. It depends whether I'm going off around poo museums and doing that, or whether sitting down doing my knitting, which I should be doing. So anyway, we so Tracy and Tasha had gone up the town. I then eventually came out of Isle of Wight and started going up the town, and I thought, oh, I'll go in the works. So I went up there, and I went into the works, which is over on the right hand side, and I bought something in there. Oh, I bought not some very exciting things. It was the plastic wallets to put some of the knitting patterns in, because the one I've got Jan's knitting pattern in, it's a see-through wallet, but it's got a purple flap, and the purple flap gets in the way of reading the instructions. I have to keep opening the flap up to read the instructions of the knitting pattern, and so I don't want to take the knitting pattern out because I want it to stay nice and clean. So I pushed the boat out, and I think it was £1 for 4 plastic wallets, good plastic wallets. So I was buying those, and then Tracy and Tasha came in. They'd seen me. I will give them a good go. I will knit some of those, definitely. I don't know where to start with it. It's just so beautiful. If I'm doing them from the carnival, I want to start with the little fairies because they need them soon, and I would have to get them done and given over. But we'll see. I'll let you know. You will know. I've knitted a scarf today. I'll show you that in a minute. So anyway, Tracy and Tasha had seen me go into the works. They were further. I didn't see them. I looked up and I couldn't see them. But hello, Bob. Nice to see you in. And so I went in the works, and then I was just buying the wallets. I was going to be the last of the big spenders. £1 I was going to spend in the works, which is very unusual for me because the works has lots of craft stuff in, lots of lovely toys and books and things. But I was going to spend £1. But in the end, I doubled it, and I spent £2 because Tracy she'd been in there earlier, and she'd bought some mail envelopes. You know, the plastic ones, and they were 4 for £1, and they're always useful to have in, especially when I want to send stuff off to the grandchildren. Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth's just come in on Facebook, and Bob just came in on YouTube. Lovely to have you in here, folks. We're talking about my week, and that we started at the beginning of the week, and then we jumped to yesterday. So I've been telling everybody about yesterday, and we haven't done the beginning of the week yet. All sorts of good things happen, good and not so good maybe. So anyway, so I spent £2 because I decided to get some of those mail envelopes. I didn't realise they were so good and such a good price in there. So always useful to have those things in, and I have used several of those lately. So I thought, well, I'll push the boat out and spend another £1. So that's what I did. And then we decided that we were going to go 6 for £1 too. Oh, 6! Tracy, I didn't realise there were 6 in there. I thought there were only 4. Look, what a bargain. Even better bargain. So she's saying 6 for £1, 2 small ones, 2 medium and 2 large. That's brilliant. So I should be all right for mailing things out sometime soon. So we decided we were going to go for lunch. We'd been talking about it on and off ever since we'd left the Pride Parade. But you know, and I hadn't intended to stay in town. I'd made I'd made a pasta dish that you can have cold, and I thought, I'm not going to take it into town. I'm going to come back and have my lunch. Well, bearing in mind I didn't leave town till 5 o'clock, it wasn't exactly lunchtime then. So what we did, we went, we were in the high street, and our lovely Star Coffee and Ale House um, was there. And I said to Tracy, how about going in there? Now, Tracy and Tasha had not been in there before. And, some of us, I never would have gone. Tracy remembered that as a pub, a bit of a dive years ago. So not the sort of place that she would have gone in, but she knew that I would not be taking her into something like that because she knows me well, and there's no way I would be going into a dive myself anyway. So 4 years ago, Rob and Leslie took it over, and they've really done it up. But they've made it into it's called the Star Coffee and Ale House, and if anybody can put the links in, because they want votes, they need votes. They're up for best pub and best pub and best cafe, because it's a pub cum cafe, and because they had the word cafe, so the Star Coffee and Ale House, because it's got the word coffee in it. I went in a long time ago, because it attracted me. Now, if it had been an ale house, just the Star Ale House, I wouldn't have gone in, because it's not the sort of thing I thought would do. But I spend a lot of time in there now, and it's lovely. Rob and Leslie are lovely people, and it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that I actually ate in there, because I wasn't even sure that I don't know. I'd had coffee, lots and lots of coffee in there, but because I'm doing Slimming World, because I'm gluten free, I'm very, I have to be very wary of where I eat and what I do. But when John and Kath and I were eating out the other day, we went in there, and they do gluten free rolls and things in there. So I had a lovely thing, and I had the same again yesterday because it was so delicious. Like Bob's saying, nice fan. Nice fan. Where did I get it from? I bought this at Riverfest last year, and so just, I know that I'm repeating myself, but Bob's just come in and asking the question. So yesterday we had Isle of Wight Pride. All right, so this is how I went into town, like this. Whoops, whoops, with my bag as well. So we had the Pride parade, and I like to be a supporter. And but this fan I had bought at Riverfest last year. Before Pride ever came along and any of those parades and things, I love rainbows. I think rainbows make people smile, don't they? And when I was a primary school teacher, I used to love, well, I still do, I love all the bright colours, you see. So for me, that was something wonderful. And now, of course, it's Pride. It's the symbol of Pride, isn't it? All these lovely things. But it's hot in this room, and I can't open the window. And the electric fan is in the other room, and I wasn't going to. I was going to you'd lose the will to live if I go off trying to get my electric fan. I didn't realise it was so warm. Amazing. What is Isle of Wight Pride? So who would like to explain what Isle of Wight Pride is? Maybe you don't know what the Pride is. Pride is it for the LGBT community? Have I got that right? So does that give you enough explanation? Maybe somebody else could help me out with the explanation. And so it's when all these people come together to celebrate. All right. So we have carnivals for all other things, but so we have our Pride parades. Good morning, Hazel. Hazel's coming in the house. Hazel's just come in from Australia. Nice to see you. Oh, right, you get that. Right, you understand what I mean. That's lovely. Sorry, I've got to have another drink. I'm talking too much, and this is what happens. So I think Elizabeth made another comment just now. Let me go back because I'm still looking. So Elizabeth's Poundland has closed down yes, our Cows one is closing down, Elizabeth, but the Ride one is still there, so we're okay for time being. Steve's leaving now. Night, Steve. Enjoy your lie-in. Elizabeth was in Primark today in Preston, and she was literally dripping. It was so hot. I didn't think it was that warm when I came. When I last week I live streamed from my lounge, and in my lounge I can have the French door open. I mean, I'm upstairs. It's like a Juliet balcony, so you can't go out of the French doors because you drop down, down to the ground. But I can have the doors open, and it's lovely. But when I sit on my sofa there, I always feel like I'm perched on it when I'm trying to broadcast to you. I don't feel so comfortable there, so I've come in here, which is the craft room. It's not. It's a craft room that holds the craft stuff, but I actually tend to do my crafting in the other room because I can open the door and I've got a table in there. But I thought I'd come in and live stream in here tonight. That's what I thought I'd do. Let's have a look. So Bob lives in Sydney, and Hazel's just saying she's in Melbourne. So they're all on YouTube. So we've got YouTubers and Facebookers in. So so we went and ate in the Star Coffee and Ale House, and Tracy, I think you liked it, didn't you? So they had, in fact, Tracy and Tasha, there was too much on their plate for them. I had the same as I had last time, and it was delicious. Not quite on Slimming World plans, and but very nice. Decided that I was going straight back on plan today. Today I've been on plan, which is just as well because I was off plan a bit on Friday as well. So I'll tell you. I'll go back to the earlier in the week. So basically, we had our lunch. It was a late lunch. Don't know what time we were eating in there. And then, we were in there at 3:00 because at 3:00 they have their vinyl club, and Rob arranges all sorts of things that go on in his place. They do fundraising for charity. They have quiz nights. They do. They're very supportive of Ride Carnival and local charities. And he has said that he's raising some money for the community cuppa, which Jan and I are running. The warm hub where people can come in and just join in for friendship and that avoidance of isolation for so many people. And so he's going to be making a contribution to that as well. Bob says he was born in Melbourne in 1949. So you're slightly older than me, Bob. With your twin brother. So my birthday is in September, and I was born in 1950. So I'm just coming up to my 75th birthday. So Bob, you're just a little bit older than me. So anyway, you're as young as you feel, aren't you? Age is just a number. So anyway. So we, in the end, so we then pootled, didn't we? What did we do after that? We pootled our way. We walked back down. So Ride is. Oh, my arm hurt when I did that. Let's do it with the other arm. So Ride has so the sea is down at the bottom, and our Union Street is like this, and then up to the High Street. It's quite. So what I do is I tend to walk down. And then if I ever want to come back up to town, I just get my bus pass out and get a bus up the hill because I don't tend to walk up the hill. It's too steep. Well, I can do it, but it's no point when I've got a free bus pass. So I think we pootled along, didn't we? We went along Cross Street. Oh, that's right. I wanted to find the nail bar that was in Cross Street because my hairdresser had said to me she has her nails done in the nail bar in Cross Street, and I didn't know where it was or anything, and I had decided I didn't want to go to my nail bar that I used to go to because when I have my nails done, for me that's a pamper session, and you might have noticed I'm quite good at talking. And I like to have conversation. I love periods of quiet. Like today, I've been at home all day on my own, and I like that too. But right, bless. Rob's saying his wife is waiting to see if she has breast cancer, so I'm very concerned for her at the moment. Bob, I'm sure all my community will be very concerned for her, and our thoughts and prayers will be with you. I know other people will join me in that, so hopefully there will be good news on that one for you. But do keep us informed, because I know that my community are very good at holding people in their prayers and their thoughts. So we get all sorts of things in this community. The bigger the community gets, the more stories we get. So we just like to be supportive. So please, give her our thoughts. Yes, please keep us updated, and tell her that we. What's do you want to give us your wife's name? If not, don't worry. It doesn't matter if you don't want to. That's perfectly okay. But do tell her that we will be thinking about her. And I know I speak for lots of the members of the community. During COVID, and before that, this community has been well. I think mostly since COVID, more so, because I used to do the live streaming and not doing the sitting at home like this. So since COVID, all these discussions, and people have been so supportive of other members of the community. So many of the community have gone through so many different things, and it's just knowing that there's people there who care that I think helps sometimes to get through. I know that helps me, and I know it helps other people. And there we are. Heather's come in now. She's praying for your wife and you as you wait for that, to find out. So there we are. Some kisses coming your way as well. So yes, keep us updated. So anyway, what was I saying? I was saying, oh yes, nail bar. So I had wanted to. I when I have my nails done, it's costing me, right? And it's not particularly cheap, but it's one of the things that it's what I do for me. I do a lot for other people, and then I decide, right, I'm going to have my nails done. I started to have my nails done because one of you lovely community asked me to do some crafting on camera. And so I've been having my nails done for over a year, and I haven't done the crafting on camera yet. And I really must do it. I'm going to see my son soon, and I'm going to ask him how to. He's got a gadget that I can do, so I can set up to actually craft with the camera going down, and you can see what I do. So I promise I will get there eventually. Bob's saying thank you, everyone. So that's nice. It's just nice to see that everybody cares. So yes, so I've been using a nail bar at the bottom of the road, bottom of Union Street. So I'd get off at the top of Union Street and walk down. Oh no, I didn't. I got off right at the bottom at the Esplanade, and it was just a few yards up. I didn't have to come much up the hill, so I would do that. But I've been thinking of changing to to the not the hairdresser, the nail bar that my hairdresser goes to. My hairdresser comes to me, so I don't have to go out to the hairdresser. And I've known her for years, and I love it. And then she does my hair, and then we sit and have she times we time my appointment so she hasn't got to rush off to somebody else. We make a gap after unless there's an emergency she has to go, but we sit and have a coffee and a chat afterwards, which is nice. And you see, that's what I like when I'm in the pampering world. That's what I like. But I was finding that the people, they're all Oriental people. I don't have anything against Oriental people. Please don't think that. But what I don't like is somebody's doing my nails, but they're talking to each other and they're not talking to me. Of course, their English isn't very good, but I don't want them talking to each other while I'm having my nails done. That might sound a bit rotten, but no, I am paying for them to do my nails, but I expect their attention. So anyway, I was getting a bit fed up because I wasn't getting that. Yeah, I was talking in there, but I was talking to other people having their nails done, and then I got told off because I was moving my hands. So I thought, no, I want to find a nail bar where I'm comfortable. So I wanted to go and investigate in Cross Street, and so Tracy and Tasha came with me, and we found one, and I wasn't sure if that's the one, but there was only one in there. So I messaged my hairdresser and I said, is this the one you're talking about? She said yes. So I made an appointment for tomorrow, and then realised that's a bit silly because I'm I'm in town on Tuesday, so I could have it done on. I might change the appointment to Tuesday afternoon, and then I don't necessarily have to go into town again. If I go into town too many times, I end to spend up too much money. So we'll see. Anyway, so then we finished there and we walked all the way down the hill to the Esplanade, and then we were going to wait for our buses. Now I can get on the same bus as Tracy and Tasha get. They get the 4, which is only 1 an hour. I get the 37, which is only 1 an hour. But the 4 was going just before the 37. If I got the 4, I would be home much quicker. But I would have an 8-minute walk instead of a 3-minute walk. I know it sounds daft, doesn't it? But you have to think about these things as you get older, and whatever. And when I get off the bus, if I got on the number 4, which I do have to get on, I would have to do that on a Sunday because the 37 doesn't run on a Sunday, and the 37 doesn't run after 5:30. The last bus goes from my bus stop at 5:30. So there are times when I can't get the 37. So I was going to go on the 4 with them, but then I decided no, I was tired, and if I get the 37, it stops at the bottom of my road, which is a 3-minute walk, whereas the 4 is about an 8-minute walk, but it goes up before it goes down, and then up again, and so I have to think about these things. Bob's saying because the taxes are going up so high in Sydney, so I'll not be able to pay for her. Sorry. For treatment in the hospital. Oh, Bob, that's so. What do you do? Does that mean you can't have the treatment, or can you get it somewhere else, or how does that work? I don't know. You see, we have our National Health Service. It's broken, but it's still it still works for us. But we don't have to do that. But obviously, you can pay. I mean, waiting lists get so long here. For the National Health Service, so you can pay for treatments, if you can, but not quite sure how that works for you. Anyway, so I came home last night and did a chill out. I got home, so I went on the 37, and Tracy and Tasha went on the number 4, and we'd had a lovely day together. It was really nice. So there was I thinking I was going to be in town, watch the parade, go and say hello to Helen and come home. But I should have known that I don't ever do things like that. So I don't know why I thought that would happen. And then when I got home, I ate the salad that I could have had as my lunch. But it didn't matter because we had a lovely lunch in the Star Coffee and Ale House. So that was fine. And that was really nice. So that was Saturday. Today, so we'll go to Sunday. Today, because I've had a very busy week, today I stayed home. There were things going on that I could have gone out to live stream or whatever. The trouble is, if I keep live streaming and taking all these pictures and I never stay home, the pictures are never going to get up online, and the videos are not going to get up online. Lunch was amazing. It was. So Tracy's saying the lunch was amazing. So I did good, didn't I? I took you to the right place. And the funny thing is, I'd not eaten in the Storium before, and time of this week. Sorry, Bob. I don't quite know what you mean. Time off this week. Sorry, I think that probably says time off this week. Okay, fair enough. I only experienced the food in the Star because when Kath and John were here, I'd gone into a new coffee shop in town, and I said, "Oh, let's try that out." And they were going to meet me, and I went into this coffee shop, and I mean, they said hello to me and that, but what I didn't like was there was a dog in there, and it jumped up on me, and I'm not a dog lover. I think I was frightened by a dog as a child. I'm not scared, but I personally do not like dogs jumping on me, and that's my right. If I'd have realised there was a dog loose in there, I might not have gone in there. I might have done and tried it out. But that was, I said to them, I don't like dogs jumping on me. So the assistant pulled the dog down, But a few minutes later, the dog was back up on me, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to stay in here. This is not. I'm outside my comfort zone here, and I don't have an issue with people loving their dogs, but I don't have to love their dogs, and that's not what I want. If I go in a coffee shop, I want to be feeling comfortable and enjoying the experience. And much as I tried to give them my support, and then I was going to take Kath and John in there, I thought no, and I got up and I walked. I finished my coffee. I paid for my coffee. Got up and walked out. Didn't say any more, but I was not happy. And so, but Rob and Leslie benefited from that experience because we went across to them, and that's when Kath and John decided that they would like to eat in there, and then we ate in there, which is why I could then recommend it to Tracy and Tasha. Your wife is watching the stream right now because she just woke up. We're sending you lots of love, Mrs. Bob's wife. Bob's wife. Don't know what your name is, but sending you lots of love, and hope all goes well. So we're thinking of you and holding you in our prayers and our thoughts. So some more kisses. So yes, today I did a chill out because I'd had such a busy week. So whizzing back to where I was going to start the week on Monday, I went to my daughter's this week because my grandson was playing Shrek in his school end of school production. He's 11. He's just leaving primary school. He leaves on Wednesday, and my daughter sent a message to the family group saying, "Oh, after 14 years, I'm going to have no children in primary school." Because her big girls have just left school, her twins have left school, and then so she's going to have two in the seniors, so little one, my grandson, he's got 3 days left of primary school now, but I went to see him in Shrek, and I'd been rehearsing with him his words when I was there before, and I was playing the donkey. So this time I should have taken my donkey ears with me. So this time I actually saw who was playing the donkey, and what they did, they had two Shreks, they had two donkeys, they had several of the characters, they had two. So they had a 40-minute first half. Well, you can't have a half that's 40 minutes when you have a second half that's 20 minutes, but you know what I mean. Part one and part two. Mary. Right, hello Mary. Mary was born in 29. That is why she is very poorly. So she's older than you, right? Okay, but we can still think of her and still send her our prayers. Ailey's just come in from Scotland, and I'm just going to pour myself another drink. Hello, Ailey. Ailey's come in from Scotland on Facebook. Some of you are on YouTube. Right. There we go. So Heather is, I don't know if Mary can see these comments. Bob can see the comments because you're on YouTube, Bob. So Heather's sending you, keeping you in her prayers as well, Mary. And just hope for a good outcome here. So much better with these two devices. What do you mean, Richard? Do you mean with Facebook and YouTube? Have you got two devices on, Richard? I don't know. I was trying to have more than one device on. I've got to sort out the issue of why I can't do landscape on my phone. I used to be able to do landscape, and Tracy looked it up and told me, she sent me what I needed to do. But the thing is, on my mobile, where she said I had to go to the settings, and the broadcast. Okay, thank you. She said to go to the settings. What she was telling me to go to, I couldn't find anywhere on the mobile. I expect on a desktop or on a laptop it probably works, but I can't. I have to go because I'm sharing an account with my son until the subscription ends. I can log in. I can go in on my phone because I use Safari. Hi Louise. Happy Monday from New Zealand. All right, you're in Monday morning. We're still in Sunday night. So here in the UK, it's 10:30. And we've been streaming for just over 2 hours. But happy Monday morning. So you're ahead of us. How many snowman scarves did you make today? I'll show you in a minute. I'll show you that in a minute. I made 2, but I'll show you in a mo. So let me just finish off the other bits, and then well, actually, why don't I answer her question while she asked me now? Let me. Your wife is watching the live stream from hospital, because I just sent the link of your live stream, and she is still trying to watch your stream. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, Bob, that's good. Well, hopefully we give her a bit of comfort, even in just the things we're chatting about, because we just chat about anything and everything here, all sorts of things. Anyway, this little fella, you might have seen this little snowman before, and this is the little snowman that Gordy from Gordy's Wood at Arraton Barnes. Those of you who are watching when Kath and John were around, we went to see Gordy, who makes these little wooden snowmen, and he has done a collaboration with Age UK Isle of Wight. So I'll just give a bit of quick history for those who don't know. Age, for years and years and years, I've been making little smoothie hats. Oh, I haven't got a smoothie hat here. How silly, but there's one out here. Let me get one, because I know where there's one on the floor out here. I put some there earlier. Let's see. Whoops. Put the light on and then I will see. Right. Just back again. Now this one is just a random one that I made. So this is a little smoothie hat, and for years and years and years, people all over the UK have been knitting little hats like this. Some of them are bobble hats, some of them might be dinosaurs. They make all sorts of things. I mean, today is National Ice Cream Day, and if I'd been on the case of making hats today, I might have made a little ice cream hat or whatever like that. And I have eaten an ice cream today. She's got dementia as well. Oh, that's sad. But so you need a lot of our love as well, Bob, in coping with all of this. So we're keeping you in our prayers as well as your wife, Bob. Whoops, hang on, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do that. So Ailey's saying it's never too early for Christmas knitting and crafting. But right. Mary said she loves you. She said you look like 48. Oh, thank you. I'm not 48. I'm 74. But that's very, very kind of her to say so. There, she gets an extra kiss for that. So anyway, that hat is Australian colour. Oh, yes. Aha. It's just a random one I picked up. I just like making different colours that go together. I've got so much wool, and I never knit loads and loads the same, because that's boring. So I will just keep knitting all sorts of different colours. Ailey's sending her prayers from Scotland. She's on over there on Facebook. Hazel's on YouTube. So years and years ago, Innocent Smoothie, the people who make the Innocent Smoothie drinks, set up a charity where every year people would join the Big Knit campaign. And the Big Knit was making lots of these little hats that then went off to Age UK. And I used to send mine to head office at Age UK. And once a year they would go on the smoothie drinks, so that the drink bottle, these would go on the top of the drink bottle, and then they would sell them, and they would charge a little bit extra for them, and then all those little bit extra for the hats would go to Age UK. Years later, I found out that if I gave them to Age UK Isle of Wight, the money would stay on the Isle of Wight, and a lot of my lovely viewers in COVID were knitters, and they all then started sending me their hats, and our island people sent me their hats, and UK wide people sent me their hats, and we've supported that charity for a long time. How do you get the crown on your name? Sorry, how do I get the crown on my name? Do you mean my name on the screen? My Go Live Granny bit on YouTube? Don't know what you mean. Um, Sorry, Bob. Explain it a little bit more. Have I finished the cardigan yet? No, but it's well on the way. Okay. And so anyway, um, I've knitted hundreds of these, and then eventually I met somebody who said if I sent them to Age UK Isle of Wight, the money would all stay on the island for people here. And then fast forward to recently, I found out Gordy, who makes these snowmen. He found some of these when he was doing a house clearance. So he's got a shop where he sells lots of lovely wooden things, and I've live streamed in there, and you'll be able to see that if you want to. And he found some of these when he was doing house clearance. The thing next to my username on the chat. On my username. Hang on. I don't know I can't remember what's on my username. Sorry. Somebody help me there. I'm sort of having a little blank on that one. Have I got a crown on my picture? I did have a tiara. Maybe that's it. I think it might have been. Oh, Heather says she's no idea, Bob. It just shows up. Okay, I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean. Anyway, so Gordy found some of these when he was doing a house clearance. Right. Hazel's saying, when we comment, some of us have a little crown beside our name. I have one with a 2 beside it. I've no idea what, because I'm watching. I don't know. I really don't know. If you click on the crown at the top of the chat, it'll show you top fans. I can't see any of that, folks. I can't see any of that, so I don't know. And I daren't touch anything much on the screen in case you all disappear. That's why I wanted to have my laptop and my other screen up. Next week I'll try and see if I can get it sorted so I can have those at least. And I will bring the wire for my laptop into this room so that, when the battery's dying, I could do it. Crown means top fans. Okay, I sorry, I can't help out on this one because I'm working on a phone and I can't see what you're talking about. I can understand what you're talking about, but anyway. So, as I say, Gordy found some smoothie hats, and he put one of those on. He'd been making snowmen, and he would sell his snowmen between September and December. That's when he sold his snowmen. So he put this little hat on and put it on a picture, put it on his social media, and then somehow, I don't know quite from how it went from there, but he suddenly had a lot of people, a barmy army of knitters, started knitting these hats for him. So he decided, he didn't know anything about Age UK or that at that time, I don't think, or maybe the ladies told him that that's what that hat was, but he didn't know. This was nothing to do with it, I don't think. He used to. These ladies all made him hats, so he would sell these snowmen with a hat for £5, and a pound for each hat. He would give a pound for each hat, and over the years they've knitted 25,000 hats. So he has given £25,000 to charity. Fast forward, I suddenly saw what was going on and thinking, oh, I need to, if he's giving a pound for a hat to charity and I'm knitting for Age UK and they're only getting 30p, maybe there should be a link between Gordy and Age UK. Well, that was already happening behind the scenes. I didn't need to say anything because when Gordy and I spoke on the phone, because I said, I really need to talk to you. No, I was messaging him and he said, oh, shall we just talk on the phone? So that's what we did. And I had a long conversation with him. and he was just about to have a conversation with Age UK Isle of Wight. So basically what happened, he did have a conversation with Age UK Isle of Wight, but you know, a lot of us were already knitting for the Big Knit charity, and what the Age UK Isle of Wight would only get the money for the little hats from us if sorry, I'll come back to that in a minute. They would only get the money if they hit a target of 12,500. So there was no way I wanted to stop them getting their target, and so I was prepared to knit until they got to 12,500, and then I was going to save the hats and give them to Gordy. Well, anyway, he had a conversation with Age UK Isle of Wight, and that was the arrangement they had. As soon as they hit the 12,500, the rest of any other spare hats would go to Gordy to put on the snowmen, and then Age UK would get £1 a hat. So it's brilliant. It's worked out like that. Gordy's actually supporting 5 different charities. Right, so wait a minute, look. Let me see. Tracy's sorting this out for me. Ailey's saying she's been a top fan for 7 years. Tracy's saying 1 at Heather Springer 560. Hashtag. Oh no, let me. I don't need to read this out. I can put this on the screen. Look. Wait a minute. Let's show this. So let me take that down. So that's what Tracy can see on YouTube. All of that. All right. So if that makes any sense to any of you. Right. Okay. Look. So all of that. Okay. Now I've got to move that to see the rest of the comments. So I'm sorry. I've got to take that off again. So Tracy's saying it's coming up with that on YouTube. Ailey's saying, love the hat and scarf. It's been raining cats and dogs all day in Invergordon. Tracy's saying, think that's what Bob's talking about. Right, okay. So caught up with the comments now. So, as I say, Age UK Isle of Wight have just announced that they're doing this collaboration with Gordy. But Gordy supports 5 different charities. And I said to him, because I went to meet him recently, and I said, well, how's this going to work? Because suddenly you've got all these, he's got boxes and boxes and boxes of these smoothie hats now. People are just knitting them. Lots more people are knitting them. And and now, because of all this, his hats are now selling all year round. No, his snowmen are selling all year round. He used to sell between September and December. But now they're selling all year round. And he's actually got somebody make it in the, he pays now to come in the shop and make them because it's gone crazy. It's gone crazy, Matt. That's good. That's good. He's still managing to keep the price of them to £5, and £1 for every snowman sold goes to the charity. So what he's saying, he's doing. Let me see if I can remember them. So it's Air Ambulance, Age UK Isle of Wight, the Brainy Bunch, which is charity for brain tumour. The Brainy Bunch. Oh, I've forgotten again. I need to write all the 5 charities down. I can't remember. So all the charities that he's doing those for. So what he's doing is he's raising £1,000 and giving it to the first charity, and then £1,000 to the next charity until he's gone through them all, and then he'll go round again. Otherwise, it would be just so difficult for him to administer it. It would just drive him round the bend. So it's just great. So excellent. So anyway, so why am I knitting a scarf? Because they came, the little snowmen come, and Gordy gave me this one. They come with a little red piece of ribbon on them. But this week I saw that Age UK Isle of Wight had put a post out, and they said they'd got a smoothie, they'd got a snowman, they got their own snowman, and Gordy's put Age UK Isle of Wight on their snowman, and they wanted a scarf that matched the logo colours of Age UK Isle of Wight. Well, those are the logo. Let me take it off and then you can see. There's 4 colours in the logo. And so what I did was blue, pink, orange, green, blue, pink, orange, green. So I said I'll make the scarf. So I messaged them and told them I'd make the scarf, and then the message seemed to disappear. So I messaged them again. So Tracy said she Googled all that. Hope that helps. So that's about the crown and all that. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy's like my personal assistant. Thank you. So anyway, so I made that this afternoon. Actually, I made another one before I made this one because I wasn't sure. I did 10 rows of each colour, but the scarf was way too long. So I then made another scarf where I only did 8 rows of each colour, and it reduced the length of the scarf. What I'm going to do now is make it a hat that's the same colour as those, and see if they want that as well. So that's a personal scarf knitted for Age UK Isle of Wight in the Age UK colours. So that's what I've been up to this afternoon. But let's see. But on Monday, I started telling you about my travels and my shenanigans. So on Monday, what happened? Was it this month? Yes, on Monday, I was going to my daughter's, and I had booked my train from Portsmouth and Southsea, where I usually go, and I booked my train from there to my daughter in Wiltshire, changing at Basingstoke and Reading, which is what I usually do. I then booked my travel assist on Sunday, and they said, "Oh, the lift's out at Portsmouth and Southsea, which is where I get on." you know, so that's a good start. I mean, I get on the hovercraft, I get a taxi to the hovercraft, I get the hovercraft across to the other side, get the hover bus round from the hoverport to the station, and then I have to get up in a lift for the station. Bit of a no-go, isn't it, when you've got mobility issues? Anyway, so Tracy on last week's broadcasts was when I realised, because that's right, before my broadcast I'd already booked travel assist, and in my broadcast I said this is going to be fun, isn't it, because 3 of the stations are out. So Basingstoke's lift was supposed to be out, and the final destination lift was supposed to be out. So I thought, well, let's see what happens. The previous time when the lift was out at Basingstoke, they sent me via Guildford, and that I remembered that, which is just as well, because on that previous journey, the previous time, I was 15 minutes late. Or I wasn't. I was half an hour late, and I put in for a refund like I do, and they've rejected it and said it's unsuccessful. And I'm thinking, I checked back into my messages that I had with my daughter on that day, and I could see that I was definitely half an hour late, because I messaged her and said, well, the train's late, I'm not going to be there, don't come to the station yet. So I've got all that conversation documented in my conversation with her. So I'm thinking, well, why do they think that I wasn't delayed when I definitely was? And then I remembered, on that journey, because the lift was out at Basingstoke, they sent me via Guildford. And because I went via Guildford, I wasn't on exactly the same timetable. So I ended up half an hour late at my destination. So because I've remembered that, I can go back to them, but I have to find the phone number again, and I have to ring them up, because there's nowhere when you do your claim, your repay for your ticket for being late, there's nowhere in a box to explain what happened. You put your tickets in, and they come back and say, no, that train ran on time. Yes, that train ran on time, but I wasn't on that train because I went via Guildford at their say so. Never mind. I could write a whole book about the shenanigans of the trains, couldn't I? But I haven't got time, so I won't. Anyway, so I'm going. This week I've got to go back to them and say, hey, I want my money back because this is what happened. Anyway, this time I haven't done the claim yet, so I will do this claim as well. So Tracy said, "Oh, she I don't know if you remember. Richard's saying boo. Why are you saying boo? Have you just come back? Oh, you just saying boo to Ailey." Anyway, so because Tracy knows, the stations and things, she said to me, well, why can't you, I had thought this, but she'd said it, why don't you go via the Fast Cat? Because if you go on the Fast Cat goes across to Portsmouth Harbour Station, which is the station before Portsmouth and Southsea, and we come off the Fast Cat and you go straight up the ramp, straight to the train station, just there. And what a busy life I have, don't I? Yes, that's what Hayley's saying. I have a busy, far too busy life sometimes, but it's fun. And what would I talk about on here if I didn't? Boo! Oh, you were checking, as was checking the leaderboard. No, oh, but you're not on the leaderboard. Oh no. Sorry about that. Oh, I see. That's he's saying boo because he's not on the leaderboard. He's not top of the leaderboard. Ah, right, okay. When I get off of here, I'm going to have to go and look at YouTube and see what you're talking about because I'm streaming through streaming software. I'm not seeing it like that, so I don't know. Anyway, so that was very valid what Tracy said about doing that. But of course, I had already paid to go on the hover to Portsmouth and Southsea, and the hover is a different company than the Fast Cat, and I could see that there were going to be issues if I tried to do that. Then I suddenly remembered that why didn't I ring South Western Railway the next morning before I went, because I was going in the afternoon, because what I suddenly realised was when I go on the hover bus, so I go from the hover from Portsmouth and Southsea where the hover comes in, and I get on the hover bus right outside the terminal, and then it takes me round to Portsmouth and Southsea. But on the way, it goes past Portsmouth Harbour Station, which is the one that's the same one as you come in on the Fast Cat. So I rang South Western Railway and I said, look, the lift's out at Portsmouth and Southsea. Can I get on the train at Portsmouth Harbour? Because I could get off the hover bus and just come there. And they said yes. So that was fine. So that's what I did. And then I avoided the issue of that. Then I got to Basingstoke, and I was supposed to have an 11-minute changeover. And because when I got on the train at Portsmouth Harbour, I checked with the lovely passenger assist girl, Sam. I said, oh, now they're telling me that the lift's out at Basingstoke. So do I need to route via somewhere else? So she said, hang on a minute, I'll go and check. So she went to check. She came back. She said, the lift's not out at Basingstoke, having been told it was. So anyway, I was getting on the train that was going via Basingstoke. So she got me on the train, but so that was fine. But instead of an 11-minute changeover at Basingstoke, the train was running late, and I had a 4-minute changeover. When Sam put me on the train, she said, where do you want to go on the train? And I said, oh, I go in one of the disabled areas. But, there's one at the back and one at the front. And so I didn't think about it, and I couldn't think, ahead. I should have said, let's go to the one at the front, but I didn't. So I got on the first one. And of course, when we got to Basingstoke, my train's running late. So I've now only got 4 minutes to change from one station to the other. I'm the wrong end of the train. Basingstoke is a very long station, and I'm this end, and I need to be that end, and then I need to go to the left and round to platform 5. Well, anyway, lovely. So Sam was the young lady that got me on the train at Portsmouth, and Sam was the lovely guy that got me off the train at Basingstoke. But I said, we haven't got long, have we? He said, no. He said, I'll put the ramp back. You keep going up there. He said, I've messaged them on platform 5 to put the ramp down. And this is great, because if the ramp's down on the train can't go. And that's their way of holding the train up for people like me. And it's marvellous. They've done that more than once. So, I mean, it was a bit of get the steps in. It was a bit of hurry up the platform. Not the greatest thing for somebody with a mobility issue. But I got there, and I got on the train, and that was wonderful. And then there was a lovely, I think it was Maz, I think her name was. I put the pictures up on my social media because there was lovely Maz on the train, and she was really helpful for me. Was that going that way, or was that coming back the other way? I get so confused because I do so many journeys. And then And yes, so I managed to actually catch the train, and then but the lift was not out at Basingstoke. That's fine. And then I thought, well, I've got to go to the final destination because that's where my daughter's meeting me. And so if the lift is out there, somebody's jolly well going to have to help me up the steps with my name, with my walker and my luggage. Got there, and the lift wasn't out there either. It was fine, so that was okay. And then I think I can't. So that was Monday. Tuesday, I went to watch my grandson in his production. Hashtag very proud granny. Now, I never realised my grandson. Well, I knew he wanted to be in the production, but I'd never seen that side of him doing anything like that. And he'd said he wanted to play the main part, Shrek. For not knowing that he had that in him, it was quite interesting to watch. Anyway, he did it. When I was there last time, I was rehearsing his words with him. Oh no, I did. I was just playing the part of the donkey, and he was doing it, and he was very good with all his words. Wow! Tuesday afternoon, he performed like I never knew he could. I know all grannies are very proud grannies, but it was amazing. In fact, all the children were really, really good. I've been a primary school teacher and I've been a school teacher for years. I've seen so many productions in my time, but this had to be one of the best. Not just because my grandson was in it, but because they were all so good. They were so well rehearsed. They knew what they were doing. It was just such fun, so good. I absolutely loved it. So it was well worth going. Richard's saying that the platform at Basingstoke is almost as long as the infamous Bristol Parkway. Now, Richard is referring back to when I was at Bristol Parkway. Was it January? I think it might have been January. I can't remember. It was right at the beginning of the year. And that was when they cancelled a train. And I was supposed to. So they cancelled a train. So there were loads and loads of people on the station at Bristol Parkway. And I was supposed to get in the disabled one at one end of the train. And we couldn't get in. So we had to go try and get up the other end of the station. And the guard would not let us. It was a very long station as well. I always seem to have the issues at the longest stations. I don't know why that is. Anyway, that was when. So that was when the guard wouldn't let us on in the first class section. I don't know whether it's because I hadn't got a first class ticket or whether it's because there were too many people. Great Western Railway always put me in the first class, even though I don't have a first class ticket, because it's easier for them. But cross country, not very helpful. Anyway, but I did end up getting a refund on that one. Again, it was one I had to fight for because I'd put my claim in, and they said, "Oh, but this train arrived on time." Then I had to ring them up and say, "Yes, the train arrived on time, but unfortunately, they would not let me on the train, so I did not arrive in time." Anyway, I did get my refund back then. Ailey's saying some children don't put the effort in. It's great when they put so much effort into what they're doing and makes happy memories of the event. Yes, really happy memories. It was lovely. So, Ailey's saying she loves my necklace and earrings. Yes, I don't think you were in the broadcast when I was talking about them. I bought these in a local shop. This is a local person who lives on the Isle of Wight. They're glitter balls. It's glitter balls, and I had to have them when I saw them. So that was amazing. Don't forget about the miserable man at the ticket office in Portsmouth Harbour. Oh yes, had forgotten about that, Tracy. Tracy's reminding me about the miserable man. Oh, Richard's jumped to number 2, apparently on the. Hang on, he's jumped to number 2 in the crown thing that we were talking about before. So, it was January. Richard's reminding me it was January. So yes, so when I got on at Portsmouth Harbour, I totally forgot that. I got on at Portsmouth Harbour, and so I went into the station at Portsmouth Harbour, and it was great. It was accessible because they got a ramp up in there. And I went into the station and said to the guy at the ticket office, "Oh, I've got passenger assist." So he said, "Oh, well, just go through there and and somebody will come. I'll get somebody to come and meet you. And then I said, oh, and the toilets, are the toilets okay? I knew where the disabled toilet was, but I said, are they working all right? Because, I'm used to toilets not working and everything like that. And he said, oh, no, they're out of order. I said, well, that's not very helpful, is it? And he was quite grumpy with me. And he said, well, what do you expect me to do about it? Or no. He said, no, there's nothing I can do about it. What he could have said was, I'm really sorry, madam. Um, you know, it's outside our control. He did not need to be rude and grumpy to me, And actually, I was going to report it. Actually, good job I didn't listen to him, because I went through and before I knew that it would be a few minutes before the passenger assist person came right round, because they would be right the other, right further down. I just knew that they would take a minute or few to get there. So I thought, I'm going to go and check that toilet. And good job I did, because the toilet was working and he was not telling me the truth. But I was going to go back and tell him it was working, but then he got people buying tickets, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to go and get on the train. And then I met this lovely Sam, who was so helpful. So yes, thank you, Tracy, for reminding me that. Richard saying, just avoid Gloucester, Lynn. The platform is 602 metres long, 658 yards long. Right, okay. Is that the longest one? I see it. Basingstoke's long. It's funny because when I was on the train going this way, I was in the 12 carriage train. And some of the platforms in the smaller stations are shorter than the length of the train. So it says in the train, if you want to get off at Mitchell or wherever it is, you need to be in the front 4 carriages. That would be really good, wouldn't it, when you're on a train in carriage 12 and you didn't know that, and you've got a walker and you can't walk through the train because some of the trains you actually couldn't walk with a walker through them because they're too narrow like that. But anyway, so there was as I was coming to my final station, actually, yes, the guard came through. I was on Great Western Railway. They're the best. Great Western Railway are the best. And the guard came down, because they often come and find you when you're on there and say, oh, just checking which station you're getting off at. And the guard came down and he said, oh, no, he said, you're getting off, and he's announced the station. I said, yes, that's where I'm getting off. And he said, I've got to get somebody else off at the same station. But he said, it's going to be a bit tricky if I've got to get you off and nobody appears to help you off. I said, well, hopefully there will be somebody there because I've booked it. He said, well, let's see what we can do. He said, I'll get that person off and then I'll have to run round and get you off or something. Anyway, fortunately, he didn't have to run back to me because my person was there to help me off. So that was okay. So that was fine. And then that was Tuesday, was the performance, and that was marvelous and really, really good. And then Wednesday, I think, was just Wednesday. When I'm over at my daughter's, we meet up with a friend of hers. She's living in the same area as her. Is one of her best friends from school. She used to go to school in West London, and they've both ended up in the same area, having not been in the same area all the time. Her friend had gone to live elsewhere, abroad and then it ended up near her. So we often meet up and have coffee. And you'll see the coffee cups on the table. We often go and have a nice coffee and a meet up when we're there together. So we did that on Wednesday. And then, and that must have been Wednesday night, I went to a barbecue. So my daughter helps with beavers. And the Beavers, Cubs and Scouts were having their AGM, but they were having a barbecue for the children as well. So there was a barbecue first, and then the adults went indoors for the AGM. The children stayed outside, and they were doing activities. They were not putting injuries on them, but they were painting with face paint. They were making injuries and then having to bandage each other up or bandaging themselves up, and that was great fun. I decided I would rather stay outside and watch the children having fun rather than going in for the AGM, which is what I did. So that was then, and Thursday was the day I came back. Now, I was going to go to Slimming World on Thursday. No, I thought I was coming back on Friday, and I was going to go to Slimming World with my daughter, but I'd be dangerous if I had a brain, because my daughter said to me, haven't you got something on Friday you need to back? Now, sometimes I go back and just do the the community cuppa on a Friday morning, but I don't always do that. Sometimes I stay, go to Slimming World and come back on a Friday afternoon. But she said, haven't you got something on Friday? And then I suddenly realised that Jan, who I do the community couple with, had got us tickets for the Ventnor Fringe for Friday afternoon. So I thought, oh, yeah, I better go back on Thursday then. So I had already booked, I'd booked my, I'd booked my ticket back so that I would be on the 4:30 hover coming back, and I would then be in time for Slimming World. So I would come home, dump my luggage, and then just walk down to Slimming World. And I have to be there before 6 to weigh in. That's what I was going to do. There was a meeting on Thursday night, and Thursday at 5 it was, and it was one of our MPs, the Conservative MP that's our MP for Isle of Wight East, and the police commissioner for crime, the police commissioner, whatever. It is a police and crime plan. This is her, Donna Jones. So she's police and crime commissioner. That's who she is. Right. So I wasn't going to go to that meeting. I wanted them to record that meeting because it was a public meeting, but they were holding it in a building that was not accessible. Well, I could. I did get in it. People had to help me up the stairs with my name. Sorry. Oh. So, there were steps up. It was not the ideal building for a public meeting where they want to discuss crime in the area, which is not just for businesses, but it was for local people, safety of us in our town. That should be accessible. So it should either be an accessible building, at least it should be recorded, so that those of us who either couldn't make it, either couldn't get into the building, or couldn't actually physically make it, it should have been recorded. And it wasn't. So I and Jan and some others were in a group that was the MP Business Forum WhatsApp group. And it was created after our MP had called a networking meeting in Ryde. And so then we'd all in this WhatsApp group. But we want transparency for all sorts of things, And the person who set the group up, I think, he did it on behalf of the MP. I don't know how much the MP knew what was going on in that group. I don't know. But when it was announced that this meeting was on the 17th and it was in this building that was not accessible and they weren't recording it, we wanted it recorded. We kept nagging. We were saying, this, why aren't we recording this meeting? And, I asked, Jan asked, somebody else asked, because she was a mom, what about the mums, young children that's tea time, it's difficult to get there. And we were getting no answers. Nobody was going to, respond to us, which we were pretty fed up with. Well, come Wednesday, Jan messaged me. I think Jan messaged me, and she said, oh, we've been removed from the group. Right, so she was removed, then I was removed, and then it seemed like everybody was being removed from the group. Well, because they were doing that, I screenshotted our conversation just asking if we could have the meeting recorded or be in a building that's accessible. We were not asking to fly men to the moon. We're supposed to be all inclusive, aren't we? And of course, I fly the flag for people with disabilities, not just because I'm now disabled. It's the sort of thing that I would watch out for before anyway. But knowing, having been with Jan, who used to run Isle Access, it's just so, important. So anyway, we found ourselves removed from this group. And I thought, well, that's a bit sad, isn't it? If people speak out, suddenly you're removed. As I say, if I'd been asking to fly a man to the moon, it might have been a different story. Anyway, So I decided that I would go to the meeting and I would record it so Jan could hear the meeting and anybody else who wanted to. But of course, the meeting was at 5 o'clock. I was coming in on a 4:30. So the hover was at 4:30, arriving in Ryde Hoverport at 20 to 5. Although it's very near, I mean, I booked a taxi to be there as soon as I got on, onto terra firma, and but the hover was 10 minutes late, so we didn't arrive till 10 to 5. And by the time I'd got into the taxi and he'd driven round, could go up and round and down Union Street again. By the time he got me there, it was gone 5 o'clock. But I didn't care because I thought, do you know what? If I come into that meeting and I'm late, and anybody has an issue with that, I will say, well, if you'd recorded this meeting or had it in an, because when I got there, my taxi driver was very good. He helped me get Navy Nora up the first 2 steps at the doorway, but then there's more steps up to the thing at the back of the room. So we had to get, I had to ask hotel staff to help me up. And so I got in. I mean, the guy who I sat next to, he did sort of do one of these, looking at me like I was a turd on the shoe. That's what I felt. Maybe he didn't, but that's what I felt. Anyway, so I got my phone out and I recorded the meeting, but it was not the best recording. I had to hold the phone for 2 hours. I did not take a tripod with me to when I went away because I wasn't expecting to have to do this. I'm very cross about it. Uh, yeah, it should be illegal, shouldn't it? And this is the MP we're talking about, Richard. This is one of our MPs. Would I like a Scottish brew? That would be nice. And Richard's saying Gloucester is the longest platform. Right, okay. Oh, right. Richard, I've just gone back on the comments. Richard was saying, reminds me of the Russ Abbott mastermind sketch. What is the standard response of BR information officer? Response by Russ Abbott character. Don't ask me. I will send a link. Yeah, okay. That's it. I mean, just sometimes it beggars belief, doesn't it, of what people say. I mean, that he's talking about the guy at the train station being rude, I think. So anyway, at the end of so I record. No, there's no stopping me. That's it. I won't be. And the more people try and stop me and shut me up when it's a valid point, the more I will not stop, because I actually am a voice for people who won't speak out. Now, some of you might find it really difficult to understand that once upon a time I was so mousy, quiet, and shy that I wouldn't say boo to a goose. Language. So I wouldn't say boo to a goose then. But over the years, too many people have tried to swing a fast one and that, and I'll speak up for myself, but I'll speak up for other people who can't, or haven't got it in them to speak up for themselves. And disability is one that really, really needs, and transparency. Transparency is what we want. So anyway, I spoke to, so I recorded it, but I had to hold the phone for 2 hours. I was going like this, and then I was putting it in the other hand, and then Brian, a friend of mine, Brian, was sitting in front of me, and I got some lovely pictures of his ear and the back of his head, because I had to just try and do it through that. But I mean, really, Jan she wants the audio. People want the audio. So anyway, at the end of the meeting, I spoke to Joe, who's our MP, and I said, we've been asking for this to be recorded for more than a week now. That's why we got kicked out of the group. And I find, too, that, it seemed everybody was kicked out of that group. And then the group wasn't shut down. I'd managed to screenshot all the requests where we were just asking, if we could have it recorded. So I thought you should have just shut this group down. Anyway, he didn't shut the group down. And now I find that some people, my friend, one of my friends said to me, oh, I'm back, I've been added back in the group. Have you? I said, no, we're the naughty girls. Jan hasn't been added back. None of us naughty girls who asked for transparency or asked for, recording, none of us have been added back. Your late disabled mum was like that. Good. Yeah, you've got to speak out, haven't you? So anyway, so I spoke to Joe and I said, you know, why we would love to have these meetings recorded so that people who are not here can access them, and also you've got it in a building that's not accessible. And he came out with such a well rehearsed speech. He'd obviously written a speech and then swallowed it, because actually at that point I thought, do you know what? I'm not even going to answer this one back because it was just such a waste of time. And I just thought, he went on about GDPR, and then he said that, you know, and so many people hide behind the GDPR rules. Some of it might be valid, some of it's not, definitely not, and they think they can bamboozle you. And I thought, do you know what? I'm just not going to argue with this one. But one of the things he also said was, oh, but people might not ask a question. You know, they might not want to ask their questions. I wasn't asking for the whole room to be recorded. You know, they didn't even engage with us in any conversation about it. You know, we might as well just have been talking to the brick wall. So it was, you know, and it's something that's so important. So um, he said, oh, it's GDPR, and then you know, as I say, I did not want all the room recorded because I know about GDPR. So there's a panel. Let's hear, you know, they're there to talk, so that should be okay to be recorded, in my mind. You know, if anybody can give me information as to why it shouldn't be, then I will listen. But a well rehearsed speech that was delivered to me the way it was, without any, you know, just not okay. So so I don't. It just beggars belief that they can behave like that and treat us like that. Um, so as I say, yeah, he said people would not ask their questions. They probably wouldn't want to ask their questions. And I thought, ugh, look, how many excuses are you going to give me? Why not just say I don't want it recorded? End of. You know, because that's basically what it was. It's not difficult to do it. You know, I've done recordings for years, but I'm not a professional. You know, but I did manage to get it recorded so Jan can listen to it. So just right. Don't doesn't As Richard said, it doesn't surprise him. Learnt from half sausage Seeley and Andrew Turner. Actually, I got on okay with Andrew Turner. Andrew Turner was our MP, and then Bob Seeley became the MP after Andrew. Bob Seeley, and Richard's referring to half sausage because lots of stories about Bob eating his sausages and all that. I just got a bit lost with all that. If you remember, it was only panel you wanted recorded. That's right. Yes, it was only the panel I wanted recorded. That was all it was. So they would have been some photo therapy for the new local news. Oh yes, there were photo opportunities going on, and some of these things are just photo opportunities, and also this whole meeting. Well, I'm just going to put a question mark over it because I have my own thoughts about it. I won't go into all that now, but I just, well, there you go. So anyway, so that was so I went to the meeting on Thursday, and didn't go to Slimming World, which I should have been at. And of course, I came in late to that meeting because I didn't know I was going to go to that meeting. If I knew I was going to go to that meeting, I would have booked an earlier hover. You know, I would have booked an earlier train, and that. But that's why I ended up coming in late, because I thought, well, if you're not going to record it, I've got to go and see what's being said, because we want transparency, you know. Now, also, interestingly, tomorrow there is a meeting. We have the town board and the neighbourhood board. No, we don't. It's one and the same. Sorry, I got confused because they changed the names. There's been 20 million has been given to be spent in Ride. Years ago, we got a lot of money to be spent in Ride, and it got frittered away. So there's somebody who was also kicked out of this group the other day, because she was asking the same, for recording that. But previously, she had been asking in the MPs group about the transparency for the new group. So it was called the Ryde Town Board. It's now called the Ryde Neighbourhood Board, and they are going to be responsible for spending this 20 million. And this person in the group, she wanted transparency, so she got kicked out as well. Now, I've noticed that there's a meeting. They're asking people to interact with the neighbourhood board, and you can do it on a survey, or you can do it on a one-to-one call, or tomorrow there's a meeting in the old NatWest Bank where we have our community cuppa, but it's saying that it's for businesses, and this, so I've got to clarify that even, because it's supposed to be for residents and businesses, not just businesses. So are they trying to cut out the residents now? Because unless we get total transparency, we get suspicious. Of course we do, because money disappears and these things happen. And we even had to sort of ferret around to find who was on the board. There are some lovely people on the board, so that's good. But there's also people who were trying to avoid issues when we were asking questions, when this other lady was asking questions before. Anyway, I need to get off my soapbox, don't I? On my soapbox, of course, there is jiggling around in the back. There's the old the levy on our local businesses, and that's up for renewal next year. And I'm obviously going to encourage the people, the no voters, to make sure they've got ballot papers next year, because they didn't have ballot papers when that happened before. And we're going into if they don't get ballot papers next year, they will be taxed for another 5 years without any say on it. And they're getting very cross because they're getting nothing for their money. Anyway, that's another hobby horse, and I need to get off that one as well. So if people wanted to ask Tracy's saying, if people wanted to ask a question, they probably would have been more willing to ask the question if they knew the question and answer were being recorded. That way, they have proof of answer to their question. You're so right, Tracy. Also, people may want to watch the meeting later to take it all in. When you're in a meeting, hang on, that jumped. When you're in a meeting, you may not take it all in at the time. Exactly. Sometimes you do need to go over things. Well, technically, you're a business still, according to Google Maps. Oh, yes, I know I am. Don't worry about it. And I make it my business to be, to know what's going on in my town. Because, of course, if I know what's going on in my town, I can share it out and let people know. And that's what we will do, it's so important. And there's so much lack of transparency, I mean, especially with the old white bid, where people didn't even know they were part of a process. I mean, how wrong is that? We're not going to tell you that we're going to tax you. We're not going to tell you you've got to vote, and then it will get through as a yes vote, and then you'll be taxed, but you can't do anything about it because it becomes mandatory. It's not okay. But there is a campaign going on, and God willing, the right thing will be done next year. So anyway, so that was that was Thursday, right? Fast forward to Friday. We're coming to the end of my week. We did the end of my week first, and then we went back to the beginning of the week. So on Friday, I went to community cuppa, and we had a lovely session. There one or two people came in at the beginning, and then people trickled in. It wasn't the biggest session we'd had. It doesn't matter. These sessions are there for anybody, and even if we had two people that felt like they'd had a good morning, that works for us, because it's all about making people feel included. That word inclusion, that word inclusion that the MP didn't seem to understand, or the people who were organising his stuff didn't seem to understand. It's all about inclusion, Again, going back to the white bid, it's not inclusive. They don't work on the disability side of things. It's just crazy. Anyway, sorry, folks. So anyway, let's go to Friday. Friday was a lovely day. We had the lovely community cuppa in the morning, and then yes, so we had quite a few people in. I was going to do craft, but people seem to just want to chat. That's fine. I don't mind whether I do craft or whether I don't. It's just what works for the people who come in, and it worked very well. And it was really nice morning. And then Jan and I packed up, and then we went to Ventnor. And we went to Ventnor because it was Ventnor Fringe. And do you know what? Ventnor Fringe has been going on for some years, and I have never been before. I love Ventnor. If I go on my own, it takes me over an hour on the bus. But Ventnor is where I first fell in love with the island. It's where we used to come on holiday. It's where we started to stay when we first came on holiday here, and so anyway, Jan had booked for us to go and see a talk of nostalgia, and it was amazing. And actually, I'm going to go and get something. I'm going to go and get another thing, another prompt. Let's have a look. I'm coming back with a couple of items. That's true nostalgia. So, let's have a look. Ailey saying, "I wonder if the older people will be granted the heating element this coming winter." I think some of them are getting it back, aren't they? No taxation without representation sort of stirred things up in 1773 in Boston, USA. Right. It's always a steep learning curve here. We learn lots of things. Every day is a school day here. Anyway, on Friday, Jan and I went over. We took our picnic with us because we were going straight from the community cuppa, and we were going straight over to Ventnor. And because I do Slimming World, I wanted to make sure that I was eating on plan. Sorry, did you miss it? Did you mention your new? Oh, I didn't mention my new top. No, let's go to that. Look, that's right. We Tracy was with me. Do you like my nice new top? Look, all nice and sparkly. Tracy was with me when I bought this. I bought this on Friday, Saturday, yesterday, and we went into Peacocks, didn't we? That's right. That's what we were doing up at the top of the town as well. We went into Peacocks, and I saw this, and I tried it on, and I thought, yes, got to have that. And I'd said to Tracy, I think I'd said to Tracy, what shame this shop doesn't do. I like shops that do loyalty points or that I can use cash back in. And of course, she's using her cashback wheel. And grey flowers and sparkly flowers. It is, yes, it's lovely. And when I got to the counter, the lady said, "Oh, I can give you a discount if you want to give me your email address." She must have heard me talking about the fact. No, she didn't, because I wasn't saying it in there, or I certainly wasn't saying it in her. I don't think I said it in her hearing, did I, Tracy? But I hate going in a shop that doesn't give some loyalty points or something like that. And anyway, so I got what did I get? 10% off or something, didn't I? Yes, I got 10% off because I signed up to the newsletter. And of course, you can sign up to the newsletter, and then if you don't want it, you can cancel it as well. But I got the discount, so I was very happy, as you can imagine. And and on my top cashback. So those of you not using top cashback, message me. You need to know that that you can use top cash. You can get top cashback on so many things, and I have been doing it for a long time. And then when you get the cash back, you can put it into your reward. You can either take it as cash into your bank, or you can put it into a reward wallet. And because I am a premium member, which means I have actually contributed £5 to their system, and you don't have to pay the £5. They take it off when you've earned some cash back. So you don't end up giving it. It's just they take it off when you've earned £5 of cash back. But if you're a premium member, your rewards, your cash back becomes more valuable if you put it in the reward wallet, and then you can take a gift card for some of the businesses, and it becomes more valuable than the actual money. And IKEA, you did say it in there, but she didn't hear. That's right. I didn't think the assistant had heard me in there, Tracy. And then I thought, well, did I say it in there or didn't I? Yeah, no, I don't think she heard me. I think that was just coincidence that she offered me the discount. And, I wasn't going to say no, was I? Anyway, so, yeah, so top cashback. So I've been wanting to, I've got a bookcase in my lounge, and I want to replace it because it's got two bookshelves at the bottom, and no, two. It's got shelves, but it's got two drawers at the bottom. But they're so blooming narrow that you can't get stuff in very well. And then some things have gone across over the top of the drawer and have dropped down, and I can't get them unless I unload the whole bookcase and turn it on its end to find out what went underneath. So for me, that's but I don't. I think I was given those cupboards, so they don't owe me anything, and I've had them for a long time. I've got two of them. Well, I'm replacing one of them. And I'm replacing it it's a Billy bookcase, but it's got doors on it because my bookcase is looking quite untidy, and I just want to. I sit in the chair opposite it, and if your books are all neat and tidy like that, that's great. But they're not all the same size and that. So I actually want to shut doors on it. So I have ordered, and I did it today. I've ordered a Billy bookcase with doors, so I can shut away the mess. And I've also ordered to go. Whoops. You can't see if I turn you around. Hang on. Don't fall off the stand, folks, because you're a bit precariously balanced. This here, up here, I am going to see the Kallax unit there. There's a 4x1, so 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, standing on top of another Kallax unit. I've ordered one of those 4x1s to go up here to tidy up this mess up here. So I've ordered both of those, but what I did, I used my cash back, and I put it into the reward wallet, and it became more valuable. And IKEA is one of the stores. I can't go into IKEA and get cash back just like that, but I can use my reward wallet to buy my stuff with a gift card. So that's what I've done. So my furniture came to, so the delivery was 35, and it was about 190 altogether. So I put it through. I've got an account called Coupert, Coupert. I go on that site, and you can get points for you can earn money by going and looking at various sites. It's only pennies at a time, but it's mounted up, and all of a sudden there was £10 there, which I could use for IKEA, and I think. So I think I might get cash back on that. I can't remember whether, but anyway, I could use this £10 voucher. So I converted that and used the £10 voucher, and then I used the other voucher that I had from my reward wallet, and so I didn't have much to pay. So, and then of course you have to find a delivery date, and of course because we're on the island, they have to do it, when they can work it out with they deliver. They use delivery people from the island, so I think they must I don't know how they ship it across, whatever. Anyway, I had to look and see when the dates were, because of course I don't want to miss my coffee morning on the Tuesday. I don't want to miss the Friday morning thing. But they can't tell you what time of day they're coming. It's somewhere between 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening. So I've had to pick a day, and there weren't many days because lots of the days have gone. So there was Wednesday of next week. So I've got to stay in on Wednesday of next week, because my furniture's coming. And then you'll hear about all my shenanigans putting my furniture together, because all this furniture, all my IKEA furniture, I've put together myself. Did have slight help with some bits of it from John, but lots of it I've managed to do myself, and I was very proud of doing all that. So that will be another thing. The only thing is I've got to get rid of the book, the case, the thing it's replacing has got to go out. And before, when furniture was going in and out, I didn't have a stair lift. So there's got to be a little bit of negotiation around the stair lift, but I think it's doable. If not, I'll just have to take the cupboard apart and put it in bits. But hopefully somebody else can have it. I didn't buy it. I think it was. I can't even remember who gave it to me. I've had them a long time, but I just thought I just wanted something new, and of course I've saved up all this cash back, so it's not really cost me anything, just a little bit. So well pleased with that. So that's what I'd ordered that today, and then. You remember when you built all my furniture? Yes, this one was the hardest one, not the top one, but the one below it is. It's got 1, 2, 3. It's a 4x4, and I actually, because they're heavy when you're trying to, so you can make them, but then you've got to lift them up. So I made it lying on, down on the floor. But then I thought, well, I can't make it out there because I'll never get it in here on my own. I could have to find somebody to help me. So what I did it on this floor here, and it just fitted. But when it came to getting it up, I was in the way of trying to get it up. It was really hard for me to actually get it up and get behind it to push it up into that position. But I did it. Occasionally now I think twice about if I need to. I don't go up ladders anymore. Well, once run on the ladder is what I'll do, but if I don't feel safe, I'll get down because I don't really want to have an accident. But there's all these sorts of things I do. But anyway, I went in. I was telling you about Friday. So Friday we went to the Ventnor Fringe. Never been before. It's been on some years, and I went because Jan said, would I like to go? And it was Vix Louthian, who is the Green Party candidate on the island. When I was doing all my campaigning when it was election year last year, you'd have seen me in green, and I made a big green hat thing, fascinator. And I was supporting the Green Party. And Vix, she's a history teacher by day. And then she did a talk on nostalgia, and it was amazing. It was wonderful, and she was talking about it because I think what prompted it, I don't know if any of you have seen, but on social media there keeps being things from the past. There might be one of those toys you played with, a Fisher Price toy or something that some of you might, those of you younger. I didn't have Fisher Price toys. My kids had Fisher Price toys. So those sort of things all popping up on your social media. And sorry, just blanked for a minute. And so it prompted her to give a talk on nostalgia, and it was just fascinating. I've taken loads of pictures, and I need to do a reel so that you can see. I need to stop going out, and then I can get all these things done. But maybe, or I might not. I might just sit and knit. And so, but before we went, actually, as we were getting into the car park, Vix and two of her boys were just actually. They just parked their car, and they were just obviously going to the theatre. And we were going to have our lunch first, and then we said, "Oh, fancy seeing you here." Do you come here often? Anyway, they went on their merry way, and we sat in the car and ate our picnics. And then it would be very, very rude to go to Ventnor and not have an ice cream from Crave. Crave is an ice cream parlour it's famous ice cream parlour, and they make all their own ice creams, all their own flavours, some amazing flavours. And I know I'm on Slimming World, and I know that Crave ice cream doesn't really fit in with Slimming World, but it would be very rude to go to Ventnor and not to go in the ice cream parlour. So we did, and Jan and I both had we had a tub and 2 scoops, and I had Oh, I can't remember what it was. It was raspberry and something and something. And then the other one, oh, I've totally forgotten what the flavours were. They were delicious. One of the same, Jan and I had one scoop the same, and then she had a lemon drizzle, and I think I had something with chocolate in it. And it was scrummy. And yes, it was off plan, but I was straight on plan straight onto a Slimming World plan in the evening and over the weekend. I did have an ice cream today. It is National Ice Cream Day today, and I did have an ice cream, but I sinned it. So it fitted in with my plan. I watched somebody on social media, on Facebook, who's been doing a Slimming World journey. She's been doing it for less than I've been doing it. In December, it will be 2 years for me. So I've done it slowly. This young lady, she's done it in a year. She's taken just about 4.5 stone off. And actually, she just put a bit on this last couple of weeks, but she went away and she said, and I wasn't going to stay on plan. And that's how I feel occasionally, because these treats now are so much nicer than if I was having them all the time. So I had that ice cream. I don't regret it. If I put a little bit on this week, it doesn't matter because I still kept 3.5 stone off. But it was scrummy, and we sat on the wall, and it was very hot and sunny, and we had a nice time. And then when we finished our ice creams, we went round the corner. We were in the Ventnor Art Club. I've never been in there before. It's an old bank, another old bank building, and it was lovely in there. Really nice set out. And then Vix gave this wonderful talk about nostalgia. She put up lots of pictures of things that actually. So one of the first pictures on the screen was those. Do you remember? I can't remember what they were called. They were things that you put a reel in that had little slides on it, and you clicked it. Can't remember what it was called, and you clicked it, and it went round. I can see people commenting on the ice cream. So Hayley saying, still waiting after saying goodnight 10 minutes ago. Yummy ice cream. Sorry. Heather saying, you have to allow yourself to have some treats or you'll be... Absolutely. And and we're not miserable because we know that we can go straight back on plan and we enjoy those treats even more. I mean, I do have treats on plan. My ice cream today was on plan. And what I was saying was Claire, this girl I watch who's lost 4.5 stone. She mentioned these ice creams the other day, and she said they were from Sainsbury's, and I was just doing my Sainsbury's shopping. So I thought, I'm going to put those in my shopping, and I did. So I had one of those today, and it was 3.5 sins. So I counted it within my sin allowance, and it was very nice. So in the box there were two vanillas and two salted caramels, and I had one of the salted caramels today. Well, you've got to have ice cream on National Ice Cream Day. I had it on Friday as well, and friends of mine, they run the Plaza Ices. They used to have an ice cream parlour in Cowes, and then they bought ice cream vans, so they're mobile now. They don't own the Plaza ice cream place anymore, but they are known as the Plaza Ices on their vans, and they've got more than one van now, and they've got eco vans as well. And I watched them on social media, and they put up something today, and I said, "Oh, did you know it's National Ice Cream Day today?" And I knew exactly what they would come back with. I knew exactly what they would say. They said, "But isn't every day National Ice Cream Day?" And I went back and I said, "I knew exactly what you were going to say." And they said, "Oh, are we that predictable?" I said, "Yes, but you're right. Every day is Ice Cream Day." But, it was just so nice. So anyway, that was that. But what I went in the kitchen to get, because we watched this thing on nostalgia, and it was just, oh, she took us back, all these pictures that went up. So many of us could relate to them from our past, and it was just amazing. Even things like the things that you used to put on the taps. You put one on this tap and one on that tap, and then it came down, and you wash your hair with pre-shower days with all the fancy showers we have now. And then she said, and of course, then it would always pop off the taps as well. Yes, I remember that, popping off the taps as well. It was so wonderful. It was only just about an hour, but it was an amazing hour. It was fantastic, and so many memories of things. And then when Jan was driving home, we went into Ventnor one way. You can go two different ways. We went one way into Ventnor, and then she went the other way out of Ventnor. And she went out of Ventnor along the coastal road. We'd come the other way, but we went on the coastal road. And wow, that suddenly, so her talk was called Nostalgia. And all of a sudden, it was so nostalgic because I mentioned earlier, I fell in love with the island via Ventnor because that's where we used to first holiday on the island. And so Ventnor was the place that actually really sort of made us fall in love with the island. And that drive we did as a child. I remember it, and it was just, I said to Jan, oh, this is so I mean, I love it every time, but having come from a talk that's about nostalgia, to then take you into that world of nostalgia as you're driving home was amazing. It was just so wonderful, and it was just such a lovely day. And then of course in the evening I was so tired, I think I fell asleep fairly quickly. How you have to, yeah, that's right. So anyway, one of the things that she put up was a set of knives like this. This is very nostalgic. This is a knife that my mum and dad had, but it's even more special because look, it got burnt on the end, but I kept it. I don't know how it ended up in my possession, but I kept it. Very nostalgic. Not only nostalgic because it's old, but nostalgic because it ended up with that fancy bit on the end. And then as I came back from the kitchen, I went to find it and I knew it was on the side, and then I couldn't see it. That's why I was a bit longer than I thought I was going to be in the kitchen. But I found it. And then on the way back, I grabbed one of my childhood books, my Gollywog book. You're not allowed to say Gollywogs, are you? Oh, and how funny. Just remembered, on Friday, in the community cuppa, we ended up having a conversation about gollywogs and how sad it is that we can't have gollywog stories and things because they were part of our past. Oh, I think we were talking about nostalgia before we went to the event. That's right, and saying all those things that you can't have, like gollywogs and whatever. And then we were talking about the Robertson's jam that we had here in the UK, and Robertson's jam had a little gollywog on the label, and you could have gollywog badges and all that sort of things that when you could save up and collect the badges. I think you had to have so many points or something. Hello, Ian. You're watching in the background of your Ailey. Excellent. So wait a minute. Somebody's put something about Tracy. Oh, Tracy's got one of these knives and she uses it as a butter knife. It's the best knife to butter bread. It is. It was the one that did the butter. It was amazing. Oh, how funny. So Heather's got some kitchen tools from her great grandma. And Tracy says she stayed at the Metropole Hotel many years ago in Ventnor. It's not there now. Well, so Ventnor, I think I've told this story recently, but when we went to on holiday to Ventnor, and it was me and my three siblings and my mum and dad and my paternal gran, so my dad's mum, and we were supposed to be in a it was sold to my mum and dad as a 2-bedroom accommodation, and so yes, 2 bedrooms for 7 of us. It wasn't, or 2 rooms or whatever. Anyway, it wasn't. Oh no, I think it was sold to 2 bedrooms and a kitchen. I think that's what it was because I can actually remember part of that. Although I would have been 8. I would have been about 8 at the time, and it was not It was not separate rooms. It was divided with with walls that only went halfway up. So basically, the kitchen smells were all going into the bedroom, and the noise of when you've got a baby trying to sleep, and it just didn't work. It was not. They lied. So mum and dad decided that they weren't going to go. Going to stay there, and they're going to find other accommodation. And then they went to that old-fashioned thing called a tourist board. The tourist board that helped the tourists. And then, of course, Visit Isle of Wight the Isle of Wight Council got rid of the tourist boards, and then they got replaced with Visit Isle of Wight, who don't tell people much information. Sorry, let's get off the hobby horse. And hang on, we got some more comments coming in. So Ian shared the broadcast, and he's been following me for 5 years. Oh my goodness. There you go. Time flies when you're having fun. And my goodness, we've been on 3.5 hours. I'm going to finish up in a minute, folks, because I'm getting tired as well. But yes, so this holiday, we 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 weren't going to stay there. Mum and Dad were so cross, so they went off to the tourist board to find us some new accommodation, because that's what the tourist board did, because they helped the tourists. What a funny idea that is. Anyway, my gran took us, we were on the seafront, and I think I told this story the other day. We were on the seafront, and while Mum and Dad were sorting out the accommodation, and the tide was in, and at Ventnor the tide comes right in and it splashes up over the esplanade. And on the esplanade there was a bit of pathway like this. No, it's quite wide, but then it narrowed further up, where there was a paddling pool in the shape of the Isle of Wight. The paddling pool, we still have that paddling pool. Well, I don't know if it's the same paddling pool. It's not in that same position. It's moved from where it was, but so no, it was wide by that bit. Sorry, it was wide by that bit, and it narrowed further up by the boating lake. And my brother David was running backwards and forwards as the tide, as the waves were crashing over the esplanade, and he was running backwards and forwards. But as he was doing it, he was moving further along, and then all of a sudden he went backwards and ended up in the boating lake because there were, the path had narrowed at that point, and he wasn't looking that way, he was looking the other way, and he ended up in the boating lake. My gran had one job: to look after us and keep us dry. And he ended up in the boating. Never mind, he lived to tell the tale, and we lived to laugh about it. But also, Mum and Dad did get us some new accommodation. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yes, Emma. And so Mum and Dad did get us some new accommodation, and we ended up in Hamborough Road. So those of you living at Tracy, I don't know if you know Hamborough Road in Ventnor. It's near the zigzag bit, and we ended up in a guest house there, and we went back year in and year out. So where we were staying in that accommodation we wanted to get out of was self-catering, but we ended up in a bed and breakfast place. So we would we got our I don't know whether it's just bed and breakfast or whether we had an evening meal there. I can't remember, but there was two sisters who ran that in the middle of Hamborough Road, and I remember Hamborough Road from then. And of course, I've been back to Hamborough Road. It's not the same anymore. Obviously, things change. But those sisters ran that. They were lovely, lovely people, and they looked after us well. And we went there for many, many holidays after that. So out of bad comes good. And we had some very nice holidays there. And we did a lot of. We actually entered the carnivals. I can remember we were in the. I remember my dad made me into the. He made me into the St. Catherine's Lighthouse. My dad always used to cover us up. I'm not quite sure what that says. I've been a grandfather clock, and I've been inside a Belisha beacon, and we've been post boxes and all sorts of things. Always great big things covering us up. Maybe he was trying to say something. I don't know. Anyway, that's nostalgic. So nostalgic, all those things. And and there was just so nostalgia, just goes on, doesn't it? All those lovely memories. And so since listening to Vic's talk, and she did it again yesterday. I don't know if it was a sellout, but it was pretty packed, but it was just amazing. But that's my first experience of Ventnor Fringe, and I don't know how I have not wanted to be part of Ventnor Fringe before. Anyway, just let me tell you. So that was my lovely little book that I loved. I love my Gollywog book, and as I say, you're not supposed to say these things or do these things anymore, but it's part of my heritage. It's part of my life, and it's still there. So Ventnor Fringe. I picked this up in the Star Coffee and Ale House yesterday to find out what's going on in Ventnor. So the Ventnor Fringe started on Friday. So it's that we were there on the first day. It goes on from the 18th to the 27th of July. Performance, music, comedy, art, food, and drink. And I know the new carnival company were over there entertaining children in Ventnor Park, doing all sorts of things. But it's just amazing. It says explore over 130 different ticketed shows listed in this program, and beyond this, the wider free fringe, which spills out into venues across the town, with street food, makers markets, jugglers, giant puppets, exhibitions, buskers, and audio trails around every corner. At the Fringe, all art forms are welcome, and performers at all stages of their career rub shoulders together, test new material, and refine their craft. Pick and choose whichever shows you'd like to see, or simply explore the town and Fringe village in Ventnor Park to soak up the atmosphere and watch the free entertainment on offer. The festival was founded by local teenagers and is now organised by Ventnor Exchange, which you can visit on Church Street year-round. We're a not-for-profit organisation reinvesting into local creative projects and our work with young people. In the past year alone, we've provided opportunities for over 600 local 14 to 25-year-olds, some of whom will be performing, exhibiting, and working behind the scenes. Whether it's your very first visit, how come I've been on the island 25 years? Well, actually, the Ventnor Fringe hasn't been going that many years, but how come it's only my first visit? I don't know. Or you've been with us since the beginning. Thank you for supporting live entertainment and being part of creating something truly special in a unique part of the world. We hope you have a wonderful fringe. Tracy's saying she remembers trying to phone someone in years gone by and you had to dial the dial all the way round. No pushing numbers in that. No, that's it. All the way round and then let it go back, and all the way round and let it go back. The youngsters don't know they're born, do they, Tracy? So it's amazing. So yes, all sorts of things. And you know what? I'm going to have a look and see, because it's on till next Sunday, and so I'm going to go and see whether there's whether I might go over and see something else. I'm quite happy to go over on my own. It takes me over an hour on the bus, but think how many little hats for the snowmen I could make, or scarves, or whatever I'm doing. So I think, and I think that's pretty much a roundup of what I did since I last spoke to you last Sunday. But look at these. Oh wow! Look at all these listings. That's all events going on. It's just amazing. Oh, there's a circus trail in Ventnor Botanic Gardens. It's just unbelievable. I just wish that our lovely friends over at Visit Isle of Wight were giving it lots of push, lots and lots of push. They haven't. But then I don't think we'll be surprised about that, do you? So anyway, that is it for now, folks. I think I need to go. I'm very tired and I'm getting a bit dry in the throat. So I hope you've enjoyed our chat. 2.5 hours. 3.5 hours. Oh my goodness. My goodness me. So thank you for being with us. Some of you came in as you woke up across the other side of the world, and we're grateful. Some came in and went off to bed because it's past some people's bedtime. It's okay. Come in when you like. Go home go out when you like. It's just so nice to have you here, and of course that lovely warm feeling, that warm fuzzy feeling you give me when you all support people like Bob and his wife, and anybody who needs that extra bit of love and care and thoughtfulness. And there we are. Look, Tracy's put it. Let me put it up for anybody wants to see. Tracy's put the link there. So that is the Ventnor Fringe, facebook.com/vfringe. That's what. That's where you can find the information. And of course, I've got this book as well. So I shall sit and browse this. I think I'm going to make myself a drink and have a little look at that. But I'm probably likely to fall asleep in the chair. I just feel myself nearly going. I'd hate to fall asleep on here. That would be awful, wouldn't it? I don't think my mouth stays still long enough for me to fall asleep. Anyway, thank you so much for being with me again, yet again. And, you know, maybe you're gluttons for punishment. You keep coming back for more. But while we can entertain each other, that's good. And I love the interaction. It's perfectly okay if anybody sits there and just watches. We don't worry about that either. You know, you do what you want to do. What we do, the only thing we don't like is the trolls. And if you start trolling, you get blocked. So you know, but we have so many lovely people in here, and they're not trolls at the moment. Bye bye, everybody. I'm going now before I fall asleep. See you soon. See you next week. Watch in between times because I will pop up and do some odd live streams around the town or whatever I'm doing. Bye.